Welcome to Project Cars Drivers Club Season 4. PCDC returns to the hectic multi-class format this spring with a 7-race series of GT3 and LMP1 action. Each Saturday we'll have practice and qualifying, followed by 90 minutes of racing with accelerated tire wear to put your racecraft to the test. Additionally, we'll be running races with real weather enabled, so keep an eye on the sky and maybe bring an umbrella. Let's take a look at the circuits. The first race of Season 4 starts in what could be called the home of the sports car, Monza, Italy. Get ready to blast some chicanes. Next, we're off to Spain's Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for a scenic early morning jaunt. Week 3, we stop by Algarve International in Portugal to speed through the hills of Portimao at sunset. Next, we head east to Japan for a go at the eponymous speedway in the foothills of Mount Fuji. After Japan, we hop the Pacific and head to my home track, Road America. This midnight race through the woods of Wisconsin is sure to put everyone's attentiveness to the test. Austin, Texas, home to Circuit of the Americas, our drivers' last chance to get their points in for the championship. This circuit will challenge them with its technical sections, but it won't be the last trial for these brave souls. Season 4 ends with a grueling 3-hour solo endurance race at Daytona Speedway in Florida. The main series championship may be decided, but this won't stop our drivers from fighting for the win in our seasonal endurance series. The season starts on April 28th, so visit PCDC.link to join us, or tune into the stream each Saturday as I take us through the action. For Project Cars Drivers Club, this is Dustin the Destroyer, signing off. Hello, and welcome back to another round of Project Cars Drivers Club Racing. We are here at the advertised 3-hour Daytona endurance race. It's our special season-ending race we do at the end of every season. We've been doing 2.5-hour races in the past, and this time around we said, you know what, let's be real mean to these drivers. Since our regular season was upped to an hour and a half, they can clearly handle 2.5 hours. So we're going for a full 3-hour solo stint out here today. This is a real big boy stint out here, and it's Daytona. It's a challenging circuit in its own right. Although I don't think we'll see as many sort of crash retirements as we did on like Nürburgring or Bathurst. You know, I think it's gonna come down to a lot more clean racing out here. We will be going at 10 times time progression, so we'll be covering 30 hours in game in this 3 hours here. So we'll go through the night and have some nice pretty headlights to look at. I am Dustin the Destroyer, per usual. PCDC.link if you want to join us for the next season. But for now, we got 5 minutes left of the qualifying session here. Bill Kerbin's got provisional pole position here. We are using the new LMPs. So we've got the new Audi here. Boom in second so far in qualifying. Also an Audi and Turimbar in third for LMP1 category. Also an Audi, but we do have some Porsche out here too. For GT3, so far Flicken's got the best time with a 1:43.9, but he also does have a 2 grid place penalty. So Civi here in second, maybe jumping up into first place for the start of the race. Albiner currently in third. Flicken, things stay the way they will. Flicken will drop down into third, and Civi and Albiner will be above him there. Fourth there in the GT. Got Finn here in the Merc. Fifth for GT3s. Ocelot. Yeah, Hot Wheels Merc in sixth for GT3s. Fatal Enemy. I don't know what livery that is. It's different looking, but yeah, he's in seventh. And Raz Daniels in the Cadillac, eighth. I forgot. I forgot he was using this livery. A little bit beat up. But yeah, these guys know how to make a livery that'll get some screen time. A little bit of pandering to the commentator never hurts. We made a really American American livery. Going back into the pits. Yeah, apparently I'm running for president in 2020, so go for it. We also have another fun livery here with Albiner's American livery. Since we're racing Daytona, it's gonna be all American out here. Oh, we're inside the track geometry. Yeah, really good stuff. Really high quality livery work for this race. Love these one-off livery designs. Yeah, always good. Good time. Bit of a gap if Jim Boom wants to try to take pole position from Kerman here. About an eighth of a second gap from second to first. Bill Kerman is definitely feeling comfy in that Audi here. Pulling some really great times. Now flicking to Civi is a hundredth of a second, then about a 6/10 gap to Albiner in third. Flicken has returned from his hiatus. His team did wind up winning the team standings for the season, despite Flicken only showing up to 1 or 2 races and having technical issues. Still got that victory in there without really having to do anything. Like commentated with me, so I guess that counts. Yeah, Turimbar able to carry that team this season. Go over the full results of last season at some point in the race here, but right now we got minute 45 left to quali. We will keep updated on the quali, try not to miss any exciting happenings here. Go on board with Jim, see if he can whittle down himself a new time here. It's gonna be hard to touch that 1:24.5. Bill is on fire, and everybody knows it. That's the danger zone for Bill. Once he's out on pole position, he runs away with the race. So Jim Boom, very seasoned driver himself. We've seen him get some good results just based on consistency and race strategy. So it's not a race killer for him by any means. It's a 3-hour race. We got a lot of time for a lot of things to happen here. So Bill is in his favorite position, but it's not all said and done. 45 seconds left to quali. Bit touchy on the grass there, no big deal. kind of canning this lap. See if he pulls out another hot one, and I'll try to take you through the corners a little bit. Doesn't. Seems to be having some weird gear things going on. Oh, I bet the AI hasn't taken over. But that's the end of quali. People will be finishing up their laps here. No big changes to the podium or the top three in each class yet. Go on board with Turambar here. It's third in the LMPs. That bus stop. Very, very fast through there. Oh! It's supposed to be real easy overtaking, or lapping at least on the banking here. It's gonna get a little bit wet and wild with the traffic. See how she goes. Is lap done for Turamars. A couple other people finishing up and filing in. We'll have our results for the qualifying. Oh, it's the Toyota. Is that? Okay. Didn't recognize that one. I'm bad at spotting LMPs. I can tell the Audis and the Porsche part because, well, the Audis are all red, it seems, and they got that like stubby nose, a smooth front. I do quite like Audi snub nose that it's got going on. Hot whip right there. Seared also in a Toyota. I'm such a bad LMP guy. Not an LMP guy. That's probably what does it. Oh, it looks like Bill Kerman takes pole position. Wait for everything to tabulate here at the very end, but pretty clear lead for Kerman here so far going into the race. Yeah, that's Bill Kerman followed by Jim Boom, Turambar. For GT3, Flickin' Flackin', I believe we'll have that 2 grid place penalty, so it might be Civi leading the way in Albaner and Flickin'. Like it might have, I don't know if that was from a previous session. I guess we'll check in with them on the formation lap, see how things go. Backing on out of that server and go to the race here. So we are in race 4, 3 hours of Daytona. Bill seems confused on what we're naming the race as well. Watch PCDC suffer. We've got 3 hours of racing on this Daytona road course, day through the night and through some of the day again, and 10 times progression there. It's gonna be wild. That's a long stint for anybody. Hey, we got a Flickin' Flackin' fan in the chat. All right, yeah, your boy's looking pretty good. We'll update it on him. We're starting in the afternoon, finishing just after a second sunset. Lots of low light racing here. We're using the new LMP category and usual Daytona road course. It's, according to Bill, a very American track. As an American, I can attest to that. It's an American track. It is very American. Floridian, which is just a special brand of American. What you do, you take an oval, you got a bunch of corners in there, and a chicane, and yeah, you get a really difficult track to drive after that. Really high speed sections where downforce. to save you time and gain some speed on the straights and those bankings. But bus stop really really trying on downforce and cornering abilities. So check out some more corners. A little more specifically here, turn 1. It's the corner geometry forces you to trail brake. So you're coming in here at top speed, basically, and you can't just slam the brakes as hard as you can and turn in. It's like a decreasing radius corner, so you need to get to a decent speed and start downshifting and braking and downshifting and turning, trail braking through your turn, and it's at its sharpest just at the end of the turn. So a very very difficult corner to master. I'd have to say it's the most difficult corner on this track. You're going into it at the highest speed that you get. T6, really hard to maximize the line out of T6 here. At the end of the infield section, and it's like a hairpin left. It's like a sort of wide hairpin left, but it's, as you can see, sort of on the top end of it, it like fans out. So you got a lot of space to wiggle out at the end of it, but getting the right trajectory to transfer onto the banking section is really important, and it's really difficult to nail every time. The bus stop, of course, this chicane in the middle of this high-speed straight, we're going to see probably during the race, the green Rolex section on the wall of the track is right about where you start braking there, and it's just such a sudden break, and you just chuck it in there as fast as you can. You might see some time penalties here and there from that. It's a really high speed chicane. It's really good old Norton's back. His strategy. Toyota and Porsche can do 3 stops for the LMPs. Audi will need 4, but is faster. I'm assuming that means it uses some more fuel. Double stinting hard tires is possible. Try to keep an eye on the pit strategies of these LMP1s. I'm just going to get a notepad out right now so I can, usually in an hour and a half, I don't have to write down people's pit stops and stuff like that, because I remember, but 3 hours, good luck. GT, 1 stop, if you're saving a lot of your fuel, can be done. I don't know if we're, maybe it's an endurance race after all. People might take it easy and try to make it through to the end, and sometimes that'll grant you a really good finish spot. Realistically, 2 stops. Some will double stint the hards. Yeah, we got some room for variation here. Strategy as well. Traffic, I think I mentioned this, it's pretty easy to manage on the banking. The infield is a lot skinnier, and there's not really alternate lines in the infield, so a couple, like the horseshoe stuff, maybe you could swing around the outside of somebody or something, but not a lot of options for overtaking and for lapping. If you're in an LMP, and a lap in the field is going to be difficult. You're going to have a lot of patience. AVX asks in chat, what are plans at the topic of cars for the next season? I don't think we've got any news on that yet. Usually we put out a survey after the season, and we sort of ask everybody how it went and opinions and stuff. I don't know if the mods meeting is today, or we're having a mods meeting as well to discuss the next season. So we should soon have some news regarding the next season, but we'll have, I think, 3 weeks of a break, get everything in order, and probably have some fun races and stuff in that time, but see how that goes. be moving to the race shortly. Find the some VS. Oh hey, I remember. Yes, some VS is here rooting for Sjord. Why aren't y'all racing? AVX and some I remember. Where y'all at? So while we're waiting. We're seeing people filling into the server. I should be able to get into the race session shortly. Waiting for my go ahead to hop into the server and then we'll be off. Tias in chat says go Rubik's. Alright, we got some rivalries going on today. It's gonna be a good race. Hello! Hey, Jans, what's up? Well, I'm glad to remember. I got it looked up here. I was ready to hop in, so we are just about ready. I just need the race director. Oh, did they start the session already? Did they honestly start the session without me? Oh. Dickheads. Sorry, I didn't realize until I looked at the mixer that the music was super loud. Yes, you absolutely can help with the graphic designs. That would be just fine. Yeah, right now we got I think so. I don't know if it's gonna give me the like gap indicator, so I'll have to like look at that manually, and I won't get the like news feed of it. But yeah, I can't even like pick different cars to spectate. No, I can't even, like, I'm just stuck looking at Bill Kerman. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was wondering that same thing. I was sitting there watching the server fill up, and I was like, all right, one of these times I'll hop in here. Yeah, I guess my order of joining doesn't really matter, does it? I suppose. No, it's still your fault. So whoever clicked go ahead without me being even in the lobby was a that's a mistake. I'm looking for it. If I can't find this server now, I'm so upset. Got it. Thank not have my desktop audio on the whole time.
Combine.
Rumber's in. Rubix is in. That was close.
Really,
Bison.
right. Really fantastic stuff. Okay, so probably couldn't hear me. Probably sounded like I was talking to myself the whole time, but I was talking to the guys on the Discord so I could get into the race, which I am now. Unfortunately, the spectator mode just doesn't work really to stream from. I don't get as much of the information eventually need. Do things the right way and go from there. Yeah, since it's a 3-hour race, I'm not gonna suffer with the bad camera controls or whatever else. Thanks for bearing with us. We got a lot of racing ahead of us, so a little bit of a delay is not exactly a killer. I can show you some slides again. You guys seen these slides? Got a couple of slides. That slide. Something. That one. That slide. You ever seen that slide before? That one. What do you think of that one? At 10 out of 17 drivers in the lobby. Just a minute. So what we do, I guess I'll update you guys on the sort of the format here. We'll have a formation lap, a manual formation lap. What we do is we join the server in order of the grid, so that we don't have to manually shuffle all the cars around while we're actually on the track. So then we just have one formation lap and then go, instead of you're trying to shuffle everybody into order. Sometimes you 2 formation laps and spends some time you don't need to be wasting. So right now we're getting everybody into the server in the order that they qualified. I have 1 formation lap and then be on for 3 hours straight. Knock on wood for no dedicated server malfunctions today. And rough. This game doesn't like dedicated servers very much. Ours has been working out for us really well. Yeah, alright. Hopefully somebody will join me in the commentary box at some point. I'm gonna lose my dang voice if I talk for 3 hours straight. Dude, done it before. Again. I think we're waiting on a person.
Where can I check this?
Yes.
You cannot check it. You have to
It has been like that the whole time. It should work, we hope.
You have to accept that it's time 10.
I'm in.
Only Bill can check it.
Mr. Cadillac, man, you can.
Yeah, I'm having flashbacks to Le Mans 2 seasons ago.
No, we
24
tested
hours
this.
a daytime. It's like playing iRacing, man.
I checked time progression is on 10 times.
Okay, everybody's in, I think.
Yeah, I'm the last one.
So
Who's
everyone, before you're ready up, check that Dustin is in the server. I want
in.
everyone to check.
Everyone
I think
is
it's
in.
there. I'm not sure.
I'm everybody's
Everyone is in.
responsibility now.
Just vote
Yeah.
for kick.
All right, boys. Well, good luck out there. Have fun.
Thank you. Have fun,
Thanks,
you
you
too.
too.
Thank you.
Go ahead and going over here. Thanks again for bearing with us. We are about to get underway here. But our participants, we've got our plan. We've got 3 hours of racing ahead of us. I think everything is set. Clock is ticking down, and we'll be off on a formation lap here. I tell you what, I'm getting the real Florida experience over here. I'm in Minnesota right now, but it's hot and just humid, so I really feel like I'm here in the stands at Daytona today. So there'll be about a minute here that the guys can set their pit strategies and make sure they got their tunings loaded up. And we'll hear some engines rev and the lights will go up per usual, but they won't be off and running. They'll be on a formation lap for single lap here. Alright, sounds like we're about ready. Got a headlight flash already. Alright. Bill Kerman's gonna lead us off here. He got the pole position in qualifying. Jim Boom behind him. And Turambar in third for the LMPs. And GT3s. Looks like Flickenflocken will keep his pole position for GT3s. That grid penalty. It's not put in, so it's Flickenflocken. And then we've got Civi in the blue Merc, and then Albiner in the America special 2. He's put 2.4 hours at Daytona, but I think he forgot that we're doing a 3-hour race. So good job, Albiner, per usual. One of our newest mods on the team, Albiner Mason, is now one of our mods as well. So really good representation out here on the field. Miffy says, AVX, there's no need to be rude. Now if the that's good input. We can take our criticisms around here. We're always looking to improve our streams and make everything more professional and stuff. You've been with us for a couple seasons. We've been increasing our production value gradually every season, and we're always looking for those criticisms so we can improve, you know, make it more professional. This is pretend race cars is serious business. Welcome to anybody just joining us. We are about to embark on our 3 hours of racing here. Had a fairly uneventful qualifying. Everybody just kind of slotted in nicely. No major incidents in qualifying. Where are we on the map? It's just humid out here today. I really feel like I'm in Florida. I haven't been to Florida, but pretty sure it's humid as hell. Maybe replace the commentator for next season, Miffy says. I don't know about that. If somebody wants to take the mantle, you know, we'll see. But most of the guys like racing. I like racing too, but I like to commentate and bring glory to the drivers club. But yeah, Miff, you can go ahead and slide on in that commentary box, whatever you want, bud. All right, so I think everything is sorted out, and once they pass that starting line here, just around this bend, be off and racing. We'll hop on with Rubik's and see how the start goes. There they go. Get in with the GT3s as they take off here. Looks like we've got a retirement already. Vin KD retired. A lot of action to try to keep up with here on the first lap through the infield. Hear those tires on the absolute edge of traction here. Goodbye cones, they never last long. And Kerman looks like he's running away already. Jim Boom is keeping up with him though. Turimar and Rubik's are back here, sort of fighting their own battle. Oh, you can see the LMP's just zooming past on the banking behind them. Albiner looking like he's losing a little bit of grip on that outside of that turn. That's that final turn of the infield section that I was talking about. You gotta exit that as fast as you can to get up to top speed here. Keep up with Albiner as he goes into the bus stop so you can see what kind of braking you're having to do here. There's that green Rolex sign. Brake, 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 brake. Chuck it in. Left, right, right. Take as much of it as you can without getting slapped by the penalties. The LMPs are already on their second lap, third overall if you count the formation, and Jim has taken the lead. Bill Kerman here in second place. I missed that overtake, but we've got us a LMP fight on our hands. I take a note to myself that that turn, the camera just lingers there for overly long amount of time. Don't want a repeat of the Falcon incident from last week. Incidents rather. We got a lot of free advertising on our stream last week. What visual bug? Miffy says that's a weird visual bug. I don't know if you can see it, Dustin. What, the one where Bill Kerman appears in second place? That is pretty strange. Oh, looks like the LMP cars don't have USA liveries. Yeah, something didn't register there. I don't know. Don't know what the deal is. It looks like they're all using regular racing liveries instead of fancy USA one-off endurance liveries. A little bit of a shame there, but we'll leave it up to Albiner and Raz to keep the patriotism up. Oh, Finn is in the chat. So disappointed. Everything was fine until the lights went green and my wheel conked out. Enjoy though, guys. Have fun and happy commentating, Dustin. Thank you, Finn. That is a shame. That's rough. You were with us for hours in practice and qualifying, and now just chooses the worst time to go wrong. That sometimes happens. It's a little bit heartbreaking. But the show must go on. Albin looking real close to Sibby here. Possibly going to be trying for that second place. Trying to keep an eye on Kerman and Jim to see if that turns into something here as well. Kerman's definitely not easing up on Jim. He wants to keep that P1. Good on Jim though. That's a good spot for him to be in. I mean, obviously it's pole position, but you don't want Kerman out in front for a long time in a race because he'll grow that gap once he's got the air to breathe. So even if Jim isn't pulling away from the pack in first, he's still keeping Kerman back, and in the long term, that is a good strategy. Yeah, you see him just roasting those tires going through there, trying to get as much speed as possible to go onto the banking. Looks like Bill's got a good slipstream and good momentum on him here. Not enough to make anything happen before the bus stop here. We'll see how the LMP cars handle this bus stop. I'm sure that's going to be high speed. There we go, into the Rolex, braking, left, right, right. Oh, that's stressful. It is. That's one of those braking zones where you need to be brave and really hit that green Rolex board to nail it in the proper time. But if you a little bit too late or a little bit too early, you're going to really compromise your line through that bus stop. Albiner's still keeping on the tail of Civi in second. Oh my goodness. Bill is still just right on Jim. They're starting to overlap already. Just 5 laps in here. Pretty quick laps. Got a full overlap already. It's working to to Kerman's favor rather. And oh, big contact. They're carrying on, but that seemed like something that would probably cause some aero damage. Not sure what happened there. Still fighting for that second, but Kerman catches right up to Jim. He's going. No, he got blocked off by that Lamborghini. Oh, that was his shot, and the GT3 was just in the wrong place at the right time, I guess. Kerman is just catching up to Jim on every corner here. Here they are passing our 3rd place GT3, passing our 2nd place Civi. Has a spin. That's going to be Albiner snatching that P2 up from Civi there. And there they go around the class leader, looking flocking. Bill is just hot on Jim's tail here. He is not messing around. Oh, he's going wide, trying to get as much as he can out of it. Jim seems to be lagging in the corners. I'm not sure if he's got some aero damage from that contact or something, but Bill is catching him in the corners consistently here. wasn't expecting a sprint race here this early into the race, but these guys certainly aren't pulling any punches. Now Civi retakes his position from Albaner here under the banking. Polly looking to make a move around Ocelot here. Lots of that is Hot Wheels AMG. Here we go into that turn 1, trail braking. Really difficult turn. Polly's gonna try to cut it close. Not exactly what he needed. Kerman real close to Jim here still. Just in those corners, he's getting right up into his exhaust. Kerman just needs one smooth line around or to the inside of Jim in that corner, and he's going to take him. I think Bill probably knows that, and Jim knows it too. So Jim's going to either have to keep playing defensively with his lines, or he's just going to have to let Bill pass at some point. But, oh, see how wild they are over those curbs in the chicane. Oh, here goes Bill with a big slipstream. I don't think he's got the momentum to do it. Jim pulls the curves and just takes off. Or is Bill slowing down? What is that? It looks... Where's Bill's... What happened? Okay, it's not telling me the right gear for him inside the cockpit, but... Seems like he's doing 240 in neutral, which is truly not the case. Did Flick and Flacken pit? Whoa. Yeah, Flick and Flacken just fell off the grid. I didn't see a pit stop, but I'm not sure what else would have caused him to fall from pole position so far. That was either a big spin, like a full spin, or a brief pit stop. He was in first. Now Civi is leading the class with Albaner hot on his tail. Good eye, Miffy. I missed that. Oh, and I'll reiterate, any members that are in the chat, if you want to join me in the commentary box, feel free. So lonely. Oh, the Boner Man's looking to make some moves around Civi here. He is trying some different lines, trying to make it happen. On here. Rubik's well within range to make something happen around Turambar here for third. Try to keep an eye on both at the same time. Yeah, it looks like Albaner's lost his chance on Civi for the time being. On these infield cameras, you can kind of get an idea of how fast these LMPs go through this infield section. Really gives you a pretty good sense of the speed. If he says I'm bouncing between the football, League of Legends, and Le Mans on top of this stream, so I can only multitask so much. Yeah, that makes sense. Is the Le Mans race... Dropped from there, hopefully no big problem. We had a big storm here morning. I was a little bit concerned about my power and internet today, but storm has passed. Everything is okay. Everything is good in the hood. Oh, Turambar lost a little bit of grip there, but I think he kicked in the kicked in the Kurz there to maintain that lead over Rubik's. I don't know if the Speedo accurately shows Kurz. I don't think it does. Oh, I can't see anything inside that cockpit. Thank you. How'd they get that camera up there? That's what I want to know. The drone? Is it suspended? That it's suspended like those football cameras. Flickenflocken now in 7th, goes from 1st to last. I'm not sure what's going on here. Hillbilly Chris in the LMPs is pitting. There it is. Civi hanging on to first place for the GT3s for now. Oh, those engines are harmonizing like music to my ears. A beautiful thing. They got a car into turn 1. They can't take it as fast as they want to here. Good for Rubik's, bad for Turenbar. This is that section where I mentioned it's so hard to lap cars, but luckily I think that was Flicken. He saw them coming from a mile off, so he was able to just let them pass. But here, this kink right there, not a lot of a chance of getting an alternate line. It's a real skinny road through the infield here. Fatal and Raz Daniels here in the GT3s. Get a quick look at that beautiful Dustin for President livery on Raz Daniels. Beautiful thing. I love it. Oh, Bill Kerman, possibly not quite up to Jim. I got the little marker for it, but it was not time to do the dirty there. Keep up with Rubik's and his fight for 3. Yeah, I think Flicken got damaged because, I mean, he went from 1st to last in a couple of laps. I'm not sure if there's been some. He doesn't look like damage, but could have been 2 big spins or something where he was really pushing it. I don't know. Fatal Enemy looking up on Raz Daniels still. Yeah, Flicken's got some pushing to do. I still didn't see him push or pit, but it doesn't look like he's got any damage. I'm not sure what the issue is. Bill is just barely touching Jim. The manual KERS deployment on these LMPs, on these newer ones, means that the KERS management is a lot more intentional. It's not just put the pedal down and what have you. So you get a little bit more control with the manual deployment rather than the pedal deployment. So that's gonna make a huge difference here in these LMP battles. They've got a lot more energy to play with. It's stored up. We've seen a couple times already the guy in front will use a quick burst of it just to keep his lead at an important time. So definitely adds another element to the LMP racing. Looks like the sun's setting, getting real beautiful out here. And Flickenflacken trying to get alongside Fatal, but having a little bit of contact, just backing it off there. Not. Oh yeah, that was going into the bus stop. That's a really, really tricky place to make a move happen. Kermit is just touching within a second of Jim. Which one of those boys is Jim? Okay. Okay, got it. A little bit of a slow LMP there that they managed to work around. Rubik's, and back to Bill. Looks like he's... Oh, it looks like he's getting back within range of making a pass on Jim. This is going to get dramatic. He's got some big momentum here into the slipstream. He's going to duck out to the outside, maybe? No, he's going to stick in. We'll see how he takes it into turn one. Jim's been a little bit slow in turn one here. Bill going all the way outside, way outside, completely outside. That was worth a shot anyway. Didn't really lose much over it. I don't think. No, didn't get a penalty for that yet. We do have a couple extension 1 second penalties for Turamar and Hillbilly Chris, just 1 second. Track limits penalties, I'm sure. Oh! Jim's struggling in the corners. Bill hasn't found a clean line around Jim in these corners, though. Here's another one that Jim's been kind of struggling with. I think that little tire spin is probably kicking on the curves to try to get as much momentum onto the bank as possible. Bus stop here. Jim got a really good exit out of the bus stop. It's safe for now. Checking really quickly with the other guys. Rubik's still working on Turamar, not quite doing anything major. Ollie looking for a fight with Raz Daniels. I am very much concerned with the race lead position here. The sun is going down, it's getting dark out, headlights are coming on. Flicking into the pits now. Just not sure what's going on with him today. We'll have to catch up with him later and find out. Bill looking like he was trying to stay inside, but Bill with the monstrous momentum here into the slipstream. But this is such a tricky place to pass. I don't know, you can kind of sneak around the outside and then get between the person and the wall there, but there's no guarantee that that move gets done smoothly. So and it's just rough going with these guys. It's really a dogfight when you got that curves, especially. You can sway how a battle plays out. So we got some GT3s coming up into turn one. We'll see how they handle this. Along the outside, smooth, braking really, really hard, a little too hard. A lot of momentum going in there around those cars. They had to compromise the lines a little bit, but everybody gets through smoothly, and everybody's still alive. Civi's still hanging on to the GT3. I think we had another GT3 retirement. Albiner 11 seconds behind Civi now. Civi's been running away with it. Albiner, if he can stay consistent though, he could have a good shot at passing Civi on pace alone. But Civi in qualifying was absolutely the fastest out there in qualifying, but Civi was pushing super hard. So maybe Civi is dialed back for race pace a little bit, but I saw Civi's back end come out a couple of times after during qualifying. So the Merc definitely not the smoothest around here, but we do see a lot of people in it. That tail end gets a little bit happy on the Mercs. Oh, Bill's right back up in it now. He's got the move. He's got the position. He's got the momentum going into turn one here. Has to give it up. Yeah, was not going to have a good line around there with the same momentum that he had, but he had it briefly. Wait. Oh, Kerman made it. I switched to the wrong person. Kerman absolutely made the move work. Wow. All right. I'm going to have a little bit more coffee, and maybe I can actually use my eyes properly. So that is Kerman up into the top position. I'm not sure what optical illusion I saw that put Jim on the inside there, but Jim now gonna fight for his life here in second. Either let Kerman run away with it or push real hard and lose your tires. So I don't know, if I was looking to be really competitive in these LMPs, I would probably have set a race strategy that included tire changes to a reasonable amount, because if you're pushing here, it's gonna burn your tires. If I drive GTE or GT3 in an endurance event, I usually just take it easy and survive. But these front runners are getting into some serious battles, and they're gonna need the tires to back that up. Very, very exciting racing from these two, though, so far into the race. We've got 2 hours, 31 minutes, so we're about 29 minutes into the race here. Matthias in the chat says, a bit disappointed in Rubik so far, dominated GT3 and now in LMP1 only 4th. Yeah, I mean, he's in, I mean, let's be honest, in a field of 9 LMPs, 4th is a good spot to be in. He is challenging 3rd position. That's Turenbar in 3rd, just right up there. So he is 2 seconds away from a podium right now. And like you mentioned, he was in GT3 all season. Just jumped into the LMPs for this race. I mean, I guess a lot of the guys don't have too much practice with these LMPs, because these are the new ones that came with the latest pack. The Porsche and the Audi are, so not a lot of practice with these newer cars. Rubik's kind of switched formats from the GT3s to the LMPs. It's a big difference. If you're racing those, it looks like some action's about to pop off here with Jim and Kerman again. But yeah, no, Rubik's is killing it, and he's just seconds away from 3rd. So we know what BOP is like for the Porsche. Yes, in qualifying and currently in the race, the Audis are in front, but I'm not sure on the Porsche BOP. Honestly, I haven't gotten the chance. Oh, there's Sjerd making a move. I haven't gotten the chance to drive or really test the newer cars, and I haven't been around for too much of the discussion surrounding the newer LMPs, so I can't quite tell you how the pace differences and how the performance differences are with them. But it certainly seems that the Audis are holding their own up in front here. But these are also some of our most seasoned LMP drivers, so it's hard to say. Like, Rubik's regained his position from Sjerd now. Oh, I gotta keep up with this E1 battle. Won't forgive myself if I miss it. Also, Bill won't forgive me if I miss some cool shit. Jim seems, I don't know if it's Jim's setup. I don't think it's his driving style. I think it's his setup causing him, maybe the curse deployment even, causing him to scrub tires fairly regularly. Not sure what exactly is the deal there, but we've seen a lot of burning tires from Jim. And we see some penalties already. Just a half hour into the race, Bill Kerman with 1 second, Jim Boom with 2 seconds. Durenbar with 3 seconds. Jans also with a 2-second penalty. So those will be tallied at the very end of the race. Those might come into play if it becomes a really close race at the end. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, racing as usual. Oh no. Bill just got another penalty. It says unsportsmanlike conduct in the race feed, but not sure what that means. I think he may have just extended and got a 2-second penalty there. It's gonna be really difficult for these guys to make it through a race without getting a drive-through, because it's really, really easy to extend in a couple places at the Daytona road course. That beautiful Alpiner livery. Ollie up into third. I missed when this happened. But yeah, Polly's found his way into an easy third here. Got some room to breathe, to cruise, and keep to strategy. Like that. I'm racing. Dropped frame. We're okay now. Oh, good. Intermittent. Team dropping. I think we'll be right though. Alright, so 2 hours, 25 minutes left of the race, and we're at the point where everybody's kind of settled in for their first stint. We've seen a couple, I would say, premature pit stops. I don't think anybody scheduled a pit stop the first half hour. So we'll have to keep an eye out and see when the first round of pit stops will hit. We'll certainly get some more excitement there. Here's some Delta action. Rubik's trying to get up to Turamar again. It is just so hot out here. Oh, goodness. Just absolutely fitting that it would be 100% humidity here while we're racing Daytona. I'm really feeling immersed. This is real racing. You don't match the humidity in your room to the humidity at the track. What are you even doing? We'll see if Rubik's has the pace to get up to Turambar here. He's getting about a half second faster on laps, so Sierra also in the 129s. So we could see some more LMP battles this stint for sure. It is full dark conditions here now, as it has been for a few laps, but Daytona's a pretty well-lit track. There's not really any dark zones that are going to be dangerous. There's really great visibility around this track. I got a brief little blip down in the GT3s. I don't. Ocelot's looking, might have a battle with Raz here. Oh, banging my microphone cable around. I can find a good spot for it. Thanks. Snack. Rubik's has, I would say, caught up to Turambar now, and he pulled a 128 last lap. That is fantastic race pace for Rubik's here. Nearly a full second faster. Bill Kerman's pulling a 127 and Jim, both in the 127s. Really, really immense pace from these. Quali, we saw 120. Spectacular. We had a mixed quali session. Traffic on qualification. This seems to be seconds lower than banging these. Oh, hello. Rubik's just needs a couple more good fast laps here, and he'll be well caught up. Already well within the position to capitalize on any possible mistakes. Jim Boom into the pits now. Almost certainly getting some tires. He absolutely roasted his tires in the first stint here. That's Rubik's into third, Turambar up in the second. Bill Kerman now with a 33-second lead over his nearest competitor. How that Porsche intelligent goes for Rubik's here. And that's Bill Kerman into the pits as well. Looks like about, oh yeah, fuel's low as well. They are absolutely burning fuel out here. Not sure, I should have asked the guys before the race if they changed the tires at the same time as fuel in the L. That can be a real boon to have getting a full tank of fuel just to have your tires done at the time. Said he can basically take as many tires as he wants. Fresh set. That puts Turambar into the lead for the time being, but he is going to be ducking in the pits surely. Where's he at? Turambar with 1.8 liters has a full lap to go before he can pit. Kind of a dangerous spot to be in, but I trust he's figured his race strategy out pretty well, where he trusts that 1.5 liters now. Looks has a little bit more fuel to burn. We are seeing the consequence of those Audis burning more fuel. It was mentioned in the pre-race. The Audis are burning more fuel. They got a little bit more pace, but Rubik's here, the Porsche, has probably three or four laps left worth of fuel. So for an endurance race, the Porsche may come out on top, honestly. That extends really nicely for 3 hours. If you get that many extra laps without pitting, he may save himself an entire pit stop by running that fuel game. Bar into the pits, getting that well-needed fuel. Herman and Jim are both back out of the pits now in 4th and 5th, respectively. Putting Rubik's into the lead for the time being in the Porsche. Here is where we see these differences between the Porsches and the Audis come into play. And Sjord is in 2nd now in the, I think that's the Toyota. Not sure. Kerman in 3rd. Bar is pitted. Jim up into. Oh. The fight goes on. Toyota seems to be pretty good on field. I see some different pit strategy between the remakes. Got 2 battles coming up at the same time here. Jan's getting right up on the snacks. How it goes. Turn 1, not quite juice to make it happen. Ocelot is looking for a fight with Raz. Must stop, see who gets the better exit here. It looks like Raz got a really great exit out of there. Raz looking a little squirrely into that braking zone. Very difficult spot. You can definitely see this being a difficult track for these front engine cars, but honestly it seems like everybody's driving front engine cars. Everybody's driving Mercs, first of all. Except Polly's got the mid-engine Huracan, Cadillac. Everybody else is in Mercs. Grab another cup of coffee while this battle. Be right back. And Polly duck into pits now, and that puts Raz in 3rd place. Good spot for Raz to be in. figured out, I think, had a couple more retirements in the GT. Not sure who it is, but the GT3s are, for the first time this season, the GT3s are outnumbered by the LMPs. Everybody was real excited to give these new cars a shot. I know a lot of guys were not pleased with the pedal deployment of the KERS in previous LMP1s, so I think a lot of guys were a lot more excited about driving these more modern cars with the manual deployment. We're definitely seeing the manual KERS deployment get put into good use in battles. But looks like he's been dropping back a little bit from Raz Daniels, but still within that range to capitalize on anything that goes his way. There, yep, I think Raz is having some connection issues, or I am. No, I think it's Raz. Big ol' leg spike. Everything else seemed to be that was concerning, but looks like they're both on really similar paces here. Ocelot's got his work cut out for him, and most of the GT3s haven't even pitted yet for a scheduled stop. There finally goes the Porsche into the pits. Rubix was leading the LMP1s for a while. That extra, by the time the Audis had to pit, he had about 10 liters left. So he had a good number of laps left in it. That puts Kerman back up into P1. And Jim Boom back up into P2. And just like that, we reset. And Rubix. Okay, so we'll see if Turenbar and Mason can capitalize on those pit stops. He coming up, he's gonna have to wait while they go through the bus stop here. Is not. Oh, Ocelot kicked out of the bus stop. Not sure if. There, feller. If you just went too deep, too fast going in, it's really easy to go too fast into that bus stop. You can chuck her into the first turn pretty well, but keeping the car balanced, that chicane is a trick to itself. Yeah, Turenbar is back up into third place, so Rubik's back into fourth. We're in exactly the same position we were at the beginning of the race. Looks like through those pit stops, Kerman's managed to stretch out his lead like he tends to do once he's first. He's got a 19-second lead over Jim, which in the grand scheme of things is not too much. Definitely not too much for Jim to overcome. We got 2 hours, 7 minutes left of the race. A couple more pit stops. Definitely a couple more pit stops for these Audis. But as we've seen, the Toyotas and the Porsche manage their fuel a lot easier than the Audis, so we could potentially see that flip-flop happen at the end of the race, and all of a sudden the Audis will be worse. Eye on that. Rubik's back to under 2 seconds to Turenbar. Third. Rubik's still looking for that. Because Turenbar, yeah, Turenbar is in an Audi. So if Turenbar's Porsche can, if Turenbar in the Porsche can overtake Rubik's in the, sorry, let me check my mouth for any defects real. If Rubik's in the Porsche can manage to overtake Turenbar, that's gonna speak volumes on his skill first of all, but that definitely gives hope to the non-Audi cars out here. The Audis certainly have the pace, but with some proper strategy and some finesse, these other makes could have some really strong finishes. And also worth mentioning is they, Turenbar and Rubik's here are not outside of a minute the lead still, so they're still keeping in that range where, oh, Turenbar with an off, wasn't able to, oh geez, Rubik's has to go off too. They avoided any contact. It's such a dangerous spot there if you misjudge your braking zone. So that was an instance, I'm sure, where Turenbar as late as possible onto the brakes, but a little too late. He couldn't get turned in time, cut through the grass a little bit. Gave Rubik's a little bit of issue on the exit there. Miss any action, but I'm looking for any penalties that may have incurred that, but we'll just see how she goes. But that is Rubik's into P3 on an even keel with the rest of the cars now, so there's definitely a lot of hope for Rubik's in this. Turenbar is not giving up the position though. He's going to keep this battle up here. Rubik's was able to capitalize on a mistake, but Turenbar does have a really quick car, so if he feels like pushing, he can snatch that position back from him. Jan's in the pits in the P. Jim seems to be whittling ahead before, half second faster on the previous lap, so Jim still on the push. Turenbar looking hungry. On the inside, and have to let him have that one, I think. Go into turn one here as I try to get the action on camera. It's easier said than done. Got just a hair over 2 hours left in the race. Might sound like a broken record telling the time of the race, but I know it's really small, so people watching on like mobile or something can't usually see the timer. Got 2 hours, 2 minutes left now. See the kind of, get an impression of the kind of lateral Gs these LMP cars pull through that chicane. Just absolutely whipping it through there. Rubik's within that 1 second of Turambar here. That's the sort of the golden zone for overtakes. Jim's still whittling down his gap to Kerman. He's 17 seconds now, so he's slowly but surely getting those tenths every lap that he needs. Oh, now it's jumped back up a little. Yeah, him and Kerman are on such a similar race pace. It's very much up in the air what's going to go on with those two for the lead of the race right now. Oh, nose to tail. Rubik's wants to make it happen. Turambar's got to be. They both got to be feeling the heat at this point. You guys are going to be absolutely worn out at the end of this 3-hour stint. I'll be very, very proud of every single one of our members that finishes this 3 hours. I wouldn't be able to. I couldn't. I've done an hour and a half. I think I did 2.5 hours at Barcelona. One of my few podiums that I've gotten. But 3 hours just too long. I'd have to have somebody feeding me cigarettes and coffee through an IV drip. In about exactly the same position as last lap. Rubik's nose to tail with Turambar here. It's definitely, when I'm driving, this isn't where I want to be in the endurance race. I want to be off, left to my own devices, just pumping out laps in peace. But here we've got this battle raging for dozens of laps. Some really, really great racing. It's great to watch, but these guys are definitely feeling the heat. Getting real close. Again into turn one. Almost had an overlap going there. Just repeating over and over again. They're not, wheel to wheel battling too much, which is good. It's not hurting their overall times a lot, which is, if you get caught up in these race-long battles, sometimes you just lose the lead. But I suppose they are over a minute gap to the leaders now, but not costing them too much. AVX says, if you want to race 3 hours, you have to do sport. You aren't allowed to take any drugs like cigarettes or something. I wouldn't say they're performance enhancing though. Pretty sure that's allowed. So I don't think smoking a cigarette while driving will work out too hot for me. So it's kind of a deal breaker on an endurance race. Welcome to anybody just joining us. We are an hour and 5 minutes into our 3-hour race here. Got an hour 55 left. Lots of time penalties on the board. I was gonna say we're just about due for another pit stop probably. Bill has 22 liters left. Not sure if this is a scheduled stop or what his strategy is, if he's grabbing some tires. Definitely an interesting time to be stopping. We'll check. Boom's got about the same fuel level. Bill's out of the pits now. Did he have a drive-through? Did he stop? He's got 6 seconds. I don't know. I should know these things, but sometimes I just don't know. Oh, Rubix has... Oh, almost got what he needed there. Kurmar got caught out just for a moment, and Rubik saw an opportunity to get around there, but Kurmar made good use of that Kurz and clapped his button and took right off. He saw Turumbar about to pass him. That's that added strategy and difficulty in actually making a pass happen in a one-on-one battle here. Oh, Turumbar had a little too much sugar going into the first turn though. Lost his footing a little bit there. So Kerman out of the pits is now 7 seconds behind Jim Boom, who is now the race leader. And also Turumbar and Rubix here in 3rd and 4th respectively are now under a minute to the lead again. Rubix is hanging her wide, trying these alternate lines, trying to get sort of an undercut to Turumbar. Check in with Bill's pace once he completes another lap here and see if he's pushing for the lead right away. Audi and the Porsche engines just harmonize at the end of the straight there. It's really nice. We see Rubix getting some really great performance in the corners, but Turumbar is able to just put the hammer down and escape once he exits. But we see Rubix nosing up to him in these corners fairly regularly. It seems Turumbar and Rubix both take alternate line through that the end of the infield section there. Turumbar kind of cuts his vector into the banking more, and Rubix tries to hang out wide and get as much speed on the flat as he can. Oh, here's another chance for Rubix. Not quite what he needed, but once Turumbar gets caught out by a GT3 again, Rubix gets a chance to overtake. So Bill, after that pit session, pulled a 130, possibly warming up some new tires there. But he's got a 11-second gap to race leader Jim Boom now. So we'll see if he can pull up the pace more after a warm-up lap. That's definitely a significant change in pace compared to earlier. Just to check in briefly with GT3, like Civi still leading the GT3s relatively unchallenged. Albiner still in P2, and I don't think any of them have stopped for a scheduled pit stop yet. Flickenflocken's fought his way back up to a 4th place now. He went from 7th to 4th now. Well, 1st to 7th to 4th. And now, just as I was mentioning it, Civi is in for, I think, his first scheduled pit stop here in the GT3s with 3.5 liters of fuel left. Albiner P2 has 9 liters, has 12. So yeah, it's getting to be about pit stop o'clock for these GT3s, and we'll start seeing a little bit of a shuffle in the GT3s. Hopefully some battles coming up. We got 1 hour 49 minutes left of the race. It's like Albiner was able to snatch that P1 while Civi was in the pits. Looks like Kerbin's back on pace with a 129, but he's going to need more than that if he's going to catch up to Jim Boom, who's just slamming out laps at 127. Yeah, Kerbin's hurting for pace right now a little bit. Possibly fuel saving a little bit, trying to stretch out the fuel use in that Audi. It's a very fast car, but he might be trying a little bit more of a conservative strategy for the rest of the race instead of burning fuel and tires battling with Jim. Here we see a sight that we've seen many times so far. Rubik's about to nose up to Turambar again into turn 1. As the story goes. He's keeping their distance, being nice and polite, letting these MPs past. That's Flickenflocken into the pits in 4th for GT3s. We're definitely getting those scheduled pit stops here, but it's an hour and 47 left. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull a 1-stop off or not. They might have a quick splash and dash by the end of the race at this rate. It's getting real close with Turambar here, going into the bus stop. Kind of had to sacrifice his line a little bit. Yeah, that corrupted his line a little bit, and Turambar got a way better exit out of there. Rubik's had that slipstream going into there. That's a tricky spot to make a high velocity entrance. It's a very narrow window of momentum that you want going into that chicane. Any little extra bit over that and that lack of downforce and that slipstream can be very, very dangerous. Turambar and Rubik's here still keeping within a minute of the lead though, so still that chance of an upset later on. is so humid here, I am dying. Outa. Goodness gracious. Albiner now into the pits in 1 for GT3, so we're in a pretty major shuffle going on here. Civi, the previous GT3 leader, is in 3rd place. Raz Daniels, 2nd there. There's my beautiful face. Still has not pitted yet, so Civi might hop right back up into P1 after this. I cannot believe how long Turmbar and Rubix have been fighting here. It's been outrageous. One of the longest battles we've seen this season. We've seen a couple that have lasted half a race or nearly a whole race, but we're an hour and 15 minutes into this race. And these guys have been at this for like 25 laps. Or more. I mean, most of the race, honestly. So it looks like Albiner is out of the pits now in 3rd place for GT3. Raz Daniels hangs on to 1st, but he still has to pit. See what happens into the bus stop this time. There's that green Rolex board. Brake, 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 brake. Yeah, definitely seeing that Audi performance on the straights, but it seems to sort of lack the top end because Rubix consistently, by the end of it, is catching up. The Audi's got that really good acceleration, but that Porsche, the power band at the top, kind of rounds out better than the Audi, it seems. Of course, the slipstream has a major effect on it as well. I am just speculating. Can't see anything. There we go. The Ocelot just got a time penalty for track limits. Civi up into P1 for the GT3s as Raz Daniels hops in pits. See if Albiner can snatch that P2 from Raz while he's in the pits. Kerman back into the pits. That's Kerman's 2nd pit stop in 10 laps, I think. Something is wrong there with Kerman. Good news for Jim, but I will sincerely wonder what's going on with Kerman there. Last pit stop was a little bit off pattern too. The Franken car of him and Raz Daniels sharing a pit box. Lovely. Kerman has well and truly lost his good position here. Turenbar and Rubix maintaining their battle up into P2 and P3 respectively. Looks like Kerman's heading out of the pits now. Hopefully everything's settled for him now because 4th place, he's got a lot of making up to do if he wants to hop onto that podium. Hour and 41 minutes left in the race. Hello. Oh. Asked me to pull him into the commentary box and then he left us. Rubix and Touring are just inseparable. But yeah, it seems Flicken Flacken has retired out of the GT3 category, leaving 5 cars racing for GT3. That's Jim Boom into the pits now. Rubix and Turambar, despite their constant battle here, are in a really great position to move up here. I think they've what? He's missing a headlight and they're bouncing around. That's Jim Boom out of the pits. I do believe Rubix and Turambar have passed Jim Boom based on that negative delta that I'm seeing. I think Kerman leapfrogged ahead too. No? No? Jim Boom is 4 seconds ahead of them? Everything shook out. Yeah. Okay, so Turambar and Rubix are now just a couple of seconds behind race leader Jim Boom. And Bill Kerman 16 seconds behind the race lead, but he's pulling 128 for race pace. He's still in good shape, and Sjord in 5th for the LMPs is only 30 seconds away from race lead as well. Let's check his fuel quickly. He's got what it takes. Everybody's kind of on pace now with their pit strategies. Got a lot of big question marks hanging in the air for the second half of this race in the LMPs. GT3s have just been sticking with their pace. Civi still holding on to P1, Albiner's still in P2, and Pauly in P3. Oh, big contact between Rubix and Turambar. They're both off in the infield now. Oh no. That's not what they needed. I didn't see what caused that. I was checking the chat and just saw them barreling off the course. That is definitely not what they needed. Hopefully not too much damage. Looked like a little bit of side-to-side scraping there. Possibly some aero damage, maybe some suspension, but I guess we'll see from their pace if there's a big fall off or not, or if they just kind of went too hard there. Turambar went too wide on, I forget what turn that is. Rubix up into P2 now. We got some drama unfolding here. And Turambar back up the inside into the chicane. Rubix has to let him go and take the racing line there. Palm tree, palm tree, palm tree. The sun is starting to rise over Daytona here. Both had a 138 due to that off. We'll see on this lap what their race pace is and if they sustained any injuries from that off. Kind of looks like they're both keeping up just fine for now. That puts them 13 seconds behind Jim Boom, and now Bill Kerman is going to be coming up on them. So we're gonna have a three-way podium battle for the LMPs here. Mason and LMP P6 that's try to stick with Bill. We can watch all three of these guys from here. Hopefully, that's the idea at least. Wait. Oh, a little bit of a difference in the braking zone there for these guys. Not sure what that's about. Got nervous. After I see these deltas closing in that fast, I get a little nervous. Durambar into the pits now. Let's see. Oh yeah, he was about dry on fuel and possibly a little damaged, but Rubik's in the Porsche still got 17.8, so you can see the difference in fuel consumption here between the Audis and the Porsche. Turenbar and Rubik's have been side by side for that entire stint, but Rubik's has loads of fuel left. But he's also got Bill Kerman to contend with, just seconds behind him, not even, 1.3 seconds behind him about. And Sjord snatches P4 from Turenbar while he's in the pits. So Kerman's last lap was a 129.6, Rubik's was a 129.9. So pretty shortly we should see the battle for P2 going on. We'll do a field check on the GT3s while we've got a minute. Full tank for Civi, full tank for Albaner, half tank for Pauly, P3. Raz Daniels, full tank. Ocelot has 3/4 of a tank. So Pauly probably going to be in for a pit stop sometime soon. Bill Kerman is caught up to Rubik's now. Sun is just beginning to crush the horizon, getting a nice pink hue in the sky. Beautiful, lovely. Oh, Rubik's is about to feel the wrath of Bill in an Audi. No, Rubik's pulls away. I think he tapped that KERS button. Yeah. Welcome back, Miffy. Flickenflacken did not say what happened to him. He asked to get pulled into the box, so I was going to ask him, but I pulled him into the box and then he left, and it seems like he's offline now, so I'm not sure. We'll have to wait for confirmation on what happened with Flickenflacken. Not exactly sure what happened. Bill Kerman getting the inside line here. Looks, that's got to be the deal done for now. Do turn one here. We are back in the sunshine. Kerman and Rubik's 18 seconds away from Jim Boom, the race leader. Looking like Rubik's and his Porsche is going to have to pit sometime soon, but I think he's nearly, with the next stint, will have eclipsed an entire pit stop in comparison to the Audis. he had 19 liters extra by the time Turenbar pitted, and that is, it's catching up, and it could work out really, really beautifully for him at the end of this. Just about an hour and a half, halfway through the race here. Oh, Jack's in the chat. Hello. Sunrise is looking good, isn't it? Beautiful thing. Love me a good skybox. Alright, looks like Kerman is running away from Rubik's a little bit here. Rubik's getting held up back there. Do a penalty check here to sort of keep in mind what could be going on at the end of the race. Jim Boom with 3 seconds, Kerman with 6, Turenbar with 3 seconds. Hason's got a full 10 seconds out here. Jans in 8th for LMP has a 2-second penalty. Albaner, 2nd place in the GT3 category, has a 2-second penalty, and Ocelot has a lot of stuff's going to get tallied up at the end of this race. A lot of stuff in the air still. Another quick look at the beautiful American liveries out here. Amber waves of gray. Rubik's into the pit now, finally. He's got 10 liters left. Not sure if he's milking his strategy to the maximum extent here, but with the conservative fuel consumption of that Porsche, he may not strategy for all it's worth. It could, if he had used that 10 up, then come in, he could have been a better off for it, but I don't know. That's speculation. Jim Boom's pulling a comfy 129 race pace here, but Bill Kerman, 14 seconds behind him, is pulling 127 still. So Kerman is on the push right now, the happy hour, while the track is warming up. On the long road out of the pits. So that would make Sjord the 3rd place in the LMP category for now. Turenbar is into 4th place. Bill's only 14 seconds away from Jim Boom. He keeps these pushes up. He could have him by the end of the stint, but they've both only got about 30 liters. Got a little bit more. Kerman pushes really hard. He'll probably catch up by the end of the stint, but they're going to be low on fuel, so I don't know if we'll see much of a battle there. Oh, we've got the insider information. Vince says Flicken has fucked up the setup, 2 low radiators, and the brakes and tires cooked. That is unfortunate. Yeah, it's definitely, this Floridian track is definitely a place you want to have your radiators and ducts open, because it is hot as hell out there in Florida. Flickin' Flockin' gave me the go-ahead to... And he's not in the... I can't... Not in the voice chat. I can't pull him in if he's not in. Bill Kervin still working on that. Who's that in front of him? Yeah. Back mark. Okay. I'm trying to multitask. Flickin' says you missed all our battles with Civi. Well, sorry, Flickin'. Sometimes that happens. Pull them into the commentary box there. Yeah, there's a lot going on at the first 20 or so minutes of the race. There's a lot going on in ease for the lead of the race, and oh, that's triage. That's how it goes. Are you with us, Flickin'?
Hi,
Hello, welcome.
I'm here again.
Yes, I got the download that the setup wasn't working. It was running too hot for you.
Yeah, the rear brake ducts are too low, so the brakes are just go to 1000 Celsius and the tires are going up to, so it's just slipping all day.
Gee, yeah, that's a real killer out here in this heat. It's a really, really hot track. What happened with the battles for Civi that I missed?
We battling for like 10 or 15 laps
Oh, really?
close, and you missed all.
Is that at the very beginning of the race that you're talking about, or?
Oh, it's after my crash, because I
Uh.
got a crash too. So he lapped me and just got behind him. So you seen that at the bus stop with that camouflaged Mercedes. I don't know who's that. He's pushing me over. And after that I got another contact.
Oh, yeah, that was fatal. That's another one of the retirees that we had. I couldn't keep everybody straight. We had a couple people retire. One was fatal. That was the camouflage Mercedes. We're getting real close here in the infield. Not a lot of room to work. Stewart into the pits. Pit stop. Liters of fuel left. Now Kerman has whittled his gap down to 12 seconds, and they're both into the 20s of liters here, so yeah, I don't think we're going to see a battle with Jim and Kerman, but we're going to see them, I think, on a similar playing field for time by the time they go into their next pit stop, so the stint after this, we're probably going to see some fireworks. Touring bar up into P3 while Stewart is in the pits. Got somebody in front of him, but it's not for position. Next person for position in front of touring bar would be Bill Kerman. I'm not sure who that is front on the track here.
Can you save the replay after that?
Yep. Oh, excuse me. Should be able to. Bill Kerman hit a 126 on his previous lap. That is really good. The traffic is thinning out a little bit for the GT3s and such. That's gonna help, but yeah, the track's heating up a little bit, and Kerman is remaining on this push, which I think is gonna work out just fine for him. If he pushes for the rest of the stint, him and Jim are gonna be on a really level playing field. Welcome to anybody just joining us. We are over halfway through the 3 hours of Daytona. Oh, danger zone into turn 1. We got just under an hour and 20 minutes left of the race here. Oh, Kerman, I wasn't paying attention to his last lap, but he pulled a 131. Something went wrong there. Sibby has been relatively uncontested for a long time now in GT3. Albiner's still just tucked in about 20 seconds behind him, and they're kind of out for a cruise. Yeah, we are well beyond the usual hour and a half of our main series races here. Going into the second half of this race here, where we're going to see the fatigue sort of take hold. We might see some mistakes. We might see some upsets here as the 3 hours winds down. A long time to be behind the wheel. Jim Boom pulled a 126 now last lap. I think he maybe sees that Kerman's closing in and says, well, maybe I'll push a little bit too before the end of this stint. That's a 126.6 now on the last one. He shaved off 3/10. Kerman with a 126.8. I like seeing Jim and Kerman get into these situations. They've had a lot of close races before. I like when they get to flex their rivalry a little bit. It's a friendly rivalry, of course, but they're very evenly matched drivers, so it's nice to see them both in their element and being competitive with each other. They don't always get the opportunity. Do a fuel check on these guys. Paulie in third, lowest fuel for the GT3, but they're making that fuel count. They're not. Everybody's kind of been on their own, not battling, so they can fuel and tire save to their heart's content out here. Seems like they're really making it stretch in these. Whoa, what was that? Tjord having a Little bit of a moment there, it seems. I don't know if that was leg or if he was really just snapping left and right. That was dangerous looking. Oh, that is Rubik's right behind him. Is it? Oh, no, okay. That's a different Porsche in front of Rubik's here, but that is Sjord now in front of Rubik's there that we're seeing. The Rubik's might be back into the mix. Rubik's fell off for a little while there, but back on the offensive. Jim and Kerman still relatively on pace with each other. Kerman's having a hell of a time narrowing that gap down. I think Jim eventually saw him closing in and decided not to let that happen, that he was going to push for this stint too. Still in a good position to make some crazy stuff happen in the next stint though, when they got fresh tires and fuel. So this should be an interesting battle when Rubik's closes this. The Porsche and the Toyota seem to be relatively evenly matched out here. Yeah, Sjord had a bad last lap with a 133.9. Rubik's with a 129.2. That pace, we are going to have a battle here. If not this one. Check race leader fuel real quick. 16 liters for Jim Boom, race leader. Kerman's got 12 liters, so those guys are going to have to pit in probably the next 4 laps. That's Sjord and what? Did I miss Rubik's passing? Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's Rubik's up into 4th. I'm a terrible commentator. I totally missed it. Yeah, seems like stuff likes to happen. I'm getting my own commentator's curse. Every time I look away at something else, people are overtaking people. Terrible. Unforgivable. I'm gonna fire myself. Rehire myself. Nobody else is here to take up the spot, but that is Rubik's up into 4th due to, I don't know. I missed it. You guys can let me know if you saw. I don't know what happened there. But it's good to see him up in the fight still, anyhow. I want to see this Porsche come out ahead at the end due to fuel. I want to see some real upsets. The Audis were quicker in practices and quali, but you know, you race for 3 hours. Just outright acceleration isn't the only thing that you have to think about. John's into the pits for. We'll track Kerman for the time being, see if he can whittle this gap down to Jim Boom up in 1st. He's got 10 liters left though, so going to be pitting. I think Jim might have an extra lap on Kerman for fuel. He's got a couple of liters more. But they're pretty well on the same strategy as they sometimes are. But now we've also seen Jim Boom do some rather brave fuel strategies where he's wound up calculating to the exact lap and sometimes crossing the finish line, coasting across with no fuel. We've seen that twice from him, so he's definitely got surprises in store for his strategy, but seems like him and Bill are doing the same thing for the most part. Bill's had a couple of weird stops that weren't planned, it seems, but he's still out there fighting. What's going on here? Not really much. Doesn't seem... Oh, okay. Maybe it is something after all. Oh yeah, he's caught back up to Rubik's. Looked like he was farther off. But Seared bringing the fight back. Kind of fallen off a little bit. About 2 seconds. He's well within range to capitalize on any mistakes. Not quite within range of a slipstream, though. Although... looks like in the corners he's getting... Oh, Rubik's is taking off on the straights. I don't know. If Seared gets a good exit out here onto the banking, he could be in a good enough position to get some slipstream, but that's very dependent. Not sure if it's going to be close enough. No, I think Rubik's is really dialing in his KERS usage here to make sure that gap stays as wide as it can through the corners. Kind of hanging out 2 seconds behind here. Jared needs to pick up the pace a little bit if he wants to close that. He's certainly trying. On with race leader Jim Boom here. check the penalties again. Jim's got 3 seconds, Bill's got 6 seconds, and Turambar's got 3 seconds. Top 3 in the LMPs. Stewart's got 4, Mason's got a 10, 2, Albiner a 3, Ocelot 2 seconds penalties. So if we wind up with some really close racing to the finish line, we might have some upsetting penalties being put on for people. Jim and Kerman still match for pace, but Kerman's got 3 liters, Jim's got 6, so Jim's got definitely a lap or 2 extra on Kerman. See that? I like the cutouts over the wheels on the front of these. Just see the front wheels going nuts under load. That's nice. Like that. Pretty nice way to get some extra suspension travel and do some cooling. It's not like the usual complex duct work that you see in LMPs and like Formula cars. It's just like, we'll cut out a hole. Yeah, that'll do it. Just cut a hole out. Brilliant engineering. Kerman a 10th faster on the last lap. Gonna be hitting the pits. Yep. With Kerman in the pits, he's going to be fueled up and possibly tired up to give a real push to Jim. I think we're going to see a flip-flop. They're only 19 seconds apart when Bill went into the pits. So depending on pit stop time for Jim when he goes in, we might see a little flip-flop here. Hard to say. Speaking of flip-flop, Turambar may be taking the P2. I think Turambar's taking the P2 already. Or has he? I don't know. The timings get weird when people are in the pits. But don't quote me on any of that. Quick fuel check for the GTs. Civi's still leading the GTs, got 40 liters. Albiner still in second with 50. And Raz Daniels in third. Hello, me. Here I am. Raz in third with 57 liters. So they can, if the tires last, they can stretch that out for quite a long time. I think they'll need a splash of fuel right before the end of the race, I believe. But I don't know, I've been wrong before. Kerman out of the pits now, holding on to his second place. Turambar 40 seconds behind him, and Jim Boom 1 minute 11 seconds in front of him. And Jim is going to be ducking into the pits after a lap 2. Hard to say. Jim likes to live dangerously on his fuel. Sometimes that guy races on hopes and dreams. Rubik's at 8-second gap to Turambar. It's on pace to catch up to that P3 at some point here. Checking gaps here real quick. That is Jim into the pits now. So we will check with Bill. Bill is just starting on the infield here. I don't think he'll make it all the way around by the time Jim gets out of the pits, so we'll just have to see what kind of gap they're working with after this. I suppose, well, we've got a moment. Go over the winners of the main season now that we've tallied up all the points. LMP1 champion Turambar got his first league title with us in the LMP1s. He was really consistent, was able to make, I think, nearly every race, and just had some really solid finishes throughout. So, yeah, congrats on Turambar's win. Let's see. Mason got P2 in the LMP1 category for the championship. Hillbilly Chris with P3. Team League was Turambar and Flickenflacken with Paprika Skrumplik. Flickenflacken, despite not being there for most of the season, Turambar was able to pick up the slack and bring their team to a total victory there. Looks like Bill Kerman, Jim Boom back on about the same gap as before the pit stops here. 15 seconds, pretty narrow gap for these guys. That can change quickly. In GT3, Echo won the points in the GT3 drivers standings. Congrats to you, Echo. Rubix managed a P2. I think it was Rubik's first season with us, and he had an amazing season. Some really, really great finishes. 1 or 2 races where he had some really bad luck. Wasn't quite on form, but a lot of it was just really, really solid racing from Rubix. I was quite impressed. And Bill Kerman got a P3 in the GT3 category. Congrats to all you guys, especially on beating Bill for points. That's easier said than done. I got mad love for Bill, but it's good to see him get some really good competition out there. He's been dominating our previous couple seasons. Team League for GT3, predictably, I think was went to Echo and Zedian. It was kind of close for team points, but Echo and Zedian. Echo had so many great finishes, and Zedian was never really a slouch either. He was a pretty consistent sort of midfield finisher that season. Concrete Racing took the team standings there. So congrats to everybody on your championship for season 4. Look forward to seeing what season 5 brings us. I don't think we have any announcements yet to make for what we'll be doing for season 4, but it'll be a good time anyway. We got a lot of our new blood in the club is really, really good at racing, so we got some really competitive people in. So we're under an hour to go. We've got 57 minutes left of the race. We are in the bottom third of the race now. We're into the dying laps where the strategy is coming to fruition and everybody's patience is really being tested. Civi's front end looks a little crooked. Not sure what happened there. Bit of a front left contact with something. Gave his Merc a little bit of a sneer. Don't forget to vote Dustin in 2020. The big one, the big election. Vote Dustin for Galactic Emperor. going down. Mason into the pits in the LMPs. He's 6 currently. Gotta say, pretty solid turnout for this race despite Le Mans going on and, I don't know, football or something. A lot of stuff going on today, but we got these diehards that are willing to race for 3 hours just for the sake of it. Commentate for 3 hours because I got nothing else going on really. Well, we've got some free time. I suppose I can go over the Endurance League standings. I don't think we've got a set end date for our Endurance League. We just do an endurance race at the end of every season. I don't know if we really have a set super season or anything. But so far, previous 4 including this one. We've had Nürburgring, Le Mans, Basarth, Bathurst, and now Daytona. So we're 4 races into the overarching endurance season. And for points, Sula currently leading the points for endurance, but Sula not present for this race. So Bill Kerman is 2 points behind Sula, and with a finish here, he will be leading the endurance standings. How Good Am I is in 3rd place for the endurance standings. Tourmar into the pits in P3. Rubix gladly takes up the mantle of P3 in the LMP category now. Good on you, Rubix. Keep that Porsche rolling. He's got 16 liters of fuel left, though, so he'll need a pit stop pretty soon, too. Endurance standings. Errold is in 4th, also not present for this race. Josh Click, 5th, also not here. Lethargic, 6th, also not here. Have a Nice Day, 7th, also not here. A lot of guys missing, so a lot of the new guys are going to be jumping up onto the Endurance League standings, where the points are made up and finishes don't really matter. We will have to. Not sure how many seasons we'll have for like our super season for those points. Right now, it's counting finishes and how many endurance races you'll actually attend. So it's double endurance, kind of. Bill has been taking off some tenths here and there from race leader Jim Boom. Up to 13 seconds. But Jim's pulling out 126s. Kerman's pulling out 127s. That's a tall order. I am so sweaty just sitting here and talking about it. I can't imagine these guys are going through right now. This is our longest single stint endurance we've done. 3 hours is kind of unheard of in a lot of competitive project cars racing, so definitely just finishing here today is a huge win for everybody involved. I like that little snub nose on the Audi too. I think I mentioned that, but it just doesn't look terribly aerodynamic, but I'm sure they've managed it. looking little nose though. Good design. I'm not much of an LMP guy, but I think I'm getting there. Starting to appreciate them a lot more. Oh, Polly getting into something with Raz here? Oh yes. Thanks, Polly, for giving me something to do. As Jim Boom and Kerman are still sprinting to the finish here. It's been a 3-hour-long sprint race for those guys. Absolutely monstrous. I think Albiner is a lap ahead. Yeah, that's Albiner up in front there, but he is a lap ahead of Raz Daniels here. But Raz Daniels is looking like he might be interested in unlapping himself. Ollie as well. No pressure, Polly. Let's see it. Looks like he's about in slipstream range. Not quite. Maybe not. Pretty close there. Next lap or two, he probably will be in a good position to, whoa, make a move. The pit exit freaked me out. Bill Kerman now within 13 seconds of Jim Boom, probably on the corners there. Despite Jim having really monstrous pace, Kerman is still sort of inching forwards. While now it says 14 and a half, so I don't know. I'm just ignore it, disregard that. We'll see what becomes of it. They're still just matched on pace basically. Jim's got just a little bit more, and this is GT3 leader Civi into the pits. Got 14 liters remaining, but I'm sure he's hurting for tires. They've been putting these tires to the test. So with that pit stop, Civi might be good till the end. I believe he will be. 37 minutes left in the race. We'll take a gas. Will take you. Can take you an hour and a half if you really feel safe. I think we saw. Was it a no stopper or a one stopper that we seen? We're good. Still here. Oh yeah, that was a big old internet burp on my end. I dropped a bunch of frames there. Apologies for that, but we are back in action here. Civi out of the pits, maintaining a 49-second lead still. Oh, not a lead, as a lead over Raz Daniels in third. Albiner did sneak away with the first place in front of Civi. Albiner, the new leader for the GT3 category. Good on ya. That beautiful American livery. Bacon spoiler. Tough. Ollie's still working on Raz Daniels back here. squirrely. Welcome to anybody just joining us. We got just under 45 minutes left of our 3-hour race. It is really coming down to it here. We are in the dying laps where mistakes will be made, hearts will be broken, and pit strategies are going to be put to the test. 89 laps in. Ollie's within the slipstream, but hasn't quite had the grunt to make the pass on Raz. Got a LMP the infield here, just all right. That'll do. That'll do, that'll do. Don't know where exactly the boundaries are along the yellow line there. Usually in oval racing here, you don't go under that double yellow, but we'll see. I know there's a good handful of time penalties on the grid already. Oh, Polly's nosing up on Raz here. Had a slightly slower last lap. Probably a 10th slower, but he is still managing. And if Raz makes a mistake here, Polly's definitely gonna collapse in on him here. Him and Kerman still maintaining about an even pace here, about 13 seconds apart. Every time Bill starts pushing, Kerman starts pushing. I don't know if Jim's got deltas up on his screen where you can see Kerman closing in, or if he is having that good of a sense, but it seems like he knows when Bill Kerman is making a big push, he sort of equals it out with his own. Ocelot in pits, 5th in the GT3. We got 5 left in GT3. Had a good handful of retirements. On Polly. On Polly. That caddy just seems to have some real grunt on the straightaways because the Huracan is in the slipstream, but still not really gaining on him. Oh, there it is. There it is. Polly's got the inside, now the outside. Are they still too wide? Oh yes. Polly gets out in front, and Raz slots in behind him. Yep. Polly's got the dominant line now. He took his time, and it paid off. He got his opportunity. In that first corner, it's really easy to go in way too deep there. Rubik's into the pits now. Sjerd up into 3rd in LMP now as Rubix comes out of the pits in 4th. Sjerd under 10 liters of fuel though, so he will definitely be hitting the pits at some point before the race here. We got 40 minutes left of the 3-hour endurance. Raz has a run on the inside to turn 1. I can't get a good view. There we go. Ollie's just sticking to the outside. He's got the inside for this. Oh, they just barely had enough room to get through there. That was almost an exact reversal of what happened on the previous overtake between these two. So that is Raz back up onto the podium for GT3. We've got some good stuff going here. I gotta thank Raz Daniels and Paulie for this action, because it's been kind of slow this second half of the race so far. But now we still have the LMPs sort of collapsing towards each other at the end of the race. Herman within 12 seconds of Jim now, just keeping consistent, and he has been just narrowly gaining, just a 10th here and a 10th here on every lap, it seems. It's fluctuating a lot, as you can see on the gaps, if you can read that, but Herman is not going to let Jim Boom run away with the win. Woo. Woo-hoo-hoo. Coming in hot. That LMP's just gonna go ahead. That wound up slowing Raz down just a... Oh. Okay, we're back. Another brief internet outage. I'm not sure what is causing that, but after 3 hours, I guess some little hiccups happen, but hopefully it stays stable here. If not, I'll look into fixing that, but try not to take the stream offline for that if I don't need to. Thanks for bearing with us here. That's not good. There we go. Work with me, cameraman. Oh, I just took another big hit to the... And I'm watching my packets right now. Hopefully it manages. Unfortunately, I'm not on a commercial line for this, so I may have some more packet loss here, but we'll roll with it. We'll see how it goes. Ollie along the outside. It's really funny to see my face looking disapproving at Paulie when he goes around the outside there. And he backs out. It seems like the Cadillac's just got more grunt on the straightaways here, but both carrying a lot of momentum into turn 1. The Cadillac loses the front end a little bit on the heavy braking and turning. And that's Paulie just sneaking up along the inside into P3 again. What a roller coaster these guys have been for us. 36 minutes left now. A brief fuel check. You guys have 14. Paulie's got 55. Raz is going to be hurting after that pit stop. He's going to need one. Albiner in the lead of the GT3s only has 5 liters. He's going to be hitting the pits. Civi has a full tank, so he's going to be quite possibly hopping up into first. 44 seconds. Yeah, that is about the length of a pit stop, so we might actually have a battle for first on our hands afterwards. Raz, I'm afraid, is going to fall off after his pit stop. We'll have to see what happens. Jim Boom, the race leader, has 18 liters left. Bill Kerman's got 14. These Audis are absolutely drinking fuel. Sjord, 2.9, he's going to need a pit stop real soon. And Rubix is 17 seconds behind him. He's looking to probably bunny hop up into him since he's got 55 liters left. And that, for all I know, could last him the rest of the race. Those Porsches are so fuel efficient. We'll just have to wait and see. This is getting exciting here with just about a half hour left of the race. And Paulie goes to the pits. That was unexpected. He had a full tank of gas, but he must have been burning his tires through that big battle. So, I mean, it lasted for 20 laps. I really can't blame him. So Paulie and Raz will be continuing their battle, it seems. Raz only has about 10 liters left. Bill Kerman within 12 seconds of Jim Boom now, pulling that pace out. He's still on the offensive. Sjord into the pits, third in LMP, and now Rubik's a minute-ish behind Sjord. Not sure if that's going to be a position or not. Stuff's getting interesting. A little squirrely into turn one. Gonna happen on these hot, worn-out tires, I'm sure. – 98 laps into the race now. We're definitely going to go over 100 laps here at Daytona. Albiner into the pits now in the lead. Civi is approaching the start-finish, so Albiner's going to, as predicted, come out probably just ahead of Civi, and we may have a battle for the lead of the hands. So yeah, the timings haven't caught up yet, but Albiner is just ahead there of Civi, and we've got a battle for first coming down to it. Albiner probably going to be on some fresh tires now, so I'm not sure if he's going to take it easy on this lap, but he's got to kick it into gear if he wants to keep Civi off him. Civi has been on these tires for a while, but definitely has the raw pace to threaten Albiner here. You see the Merc getting a little squirrely on the rear at times. We see a lot of that depending on the track and the corner, but those Mercs seem a little bit tail happy, but they've got the straight line speed to back it up. Lap 99 of the race. Just over 30 minutes remaining here. Go on board with race leader Jim Boom on lap 99 of the race here. I think Jim screeches his tires a little bit there every time on that exit. He's trying to absolutely juice his curves in his car onto the straight. And I don't know if you can see in the corner there, but him and Kerman are still keeping pace. Jim's last lap was a 127.9. Kerman had a 127.4. Not 13 seconds separating them as we get into the last half hour of the race. MDK's joined us in the chat. Bix Touring Bar is still fighting. Yes, they're still within 2 seconds of each other here. Divvy and Boner are currently having a decent fight. They're gonna be. Civi is keeping up with Boner on those. Al's got the fresh tires, so let's see how that goes for Civi here. he can close that gap or not. But yeah, Rubik's and Turinbar, I haven't really been paying attention to. I haven't gotten the delta indicator for them, but they're within 2 seconds of each other here too. So really, our top 4 in the LMPs are subject to some battles here. Raz Daniels ducking into the pits there for fuel, possibly tires, but running on low fuel there. Civi not quite keeping up with Albinner's fresh tires on the straight. Both running the Merc. Tires are definitely going to be making the difference here. Yeah, we got a lot going on going into the dying laps of this race here. Oh, Turinbar getting dangerous over those curbs. Yeah, MDK, absolutely. If you want to join me, hop into one of the voice channels and I can drag you in. Herman into the pits now. He had 13 liters of fuel. He's going to play it safe, grab some fuel, grab some tires, and push his ass off for the rest of the race. But, MDK into the commentary box here. Hello. Can you hear me, MDK?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello there.
Hello, welcome. Welcome to the box, as I call it.
Boss. Look at you giving yourself awesome nicknames.
Yeah, right? I got you. I got a lot of time on my hands today with this 3-hour race.
Yeah, but it looks like there's still plenty of cars going.
Yeah, it's surprising actually. This is our longest endurance race that we've done in recent times. I know in season 1, like Project Cars 1 seasons, they'd done some like driver swap endurance races, but 3 hours for a single stint is pushing it. So yeah, we got 13 people still racing out here. We've had a couple of retirements. Race leader Jim Boom into the pits now. Bill Kerman, after his pit stop, has 40 liters. I don't know if that math adds up. It's might not be enough to make it to the end of the race. I'm not sure. These Audis are just gas guzzlers. But
yeah, those LMPs really love to suck gas like it's nobody's business.
Yeah, especially the Audis. The Porsche has had like 3 extra laps per stint compared to the Audis.
So yeah, it might get a little bit excited at the end, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe even some tire problems for the GTs.
Yeah, we've seen, we're seeing. Whoa, he's almost caught up. We're seeing Civi struggle in the same car, struggling for pace against Albiner here. But now that I say that, he's caught up to about a second away. But yeah, the LMPs, all of them are sort of converging right now towards the end of the race. And I'm sure I missed some action just now with couldn't figure out the timings between Kerman and Rubix and Jim, but looks like Jim is now out of the pits, 36 seconds ahead of Kerman. Jim's just getting getting out of the. Let's see if anything goes on with Civi and Albiner here.
I hope. And if an exciting ending is always good, right?
It is. I'm always thankful when all the strategy and all the racing sort of comes to a nice climax at the end of the race. You expect, some spread out middle section in these longer races. We get a lot of that, but then you really see the different strategies and different techniques coming into play at the end of the race, and we're looking at a banger here today.
Yeah, and like you said, I think with the 3-hour stint, that the final minutes can get hairy as people just start to lose concentration and get exhausted. Because it's not a complicated track, but it's really tricky in some points.
Yeah, it's got those turns that you know, a lot of them are easy enough, elementary type of turns, but the first turn into the infield is like that decreasing radius that you cannot mess up. You're going top speed into that. And then back out of the infield, you have to get that exit right. And the bus stop, dangerous braking zones here. And you can't really afford to mess those up. We've seen a couple people go too deep on both of those, and it's cost people positions immediately.
Yeah, but luckily, you know, there's plenty of runoff. So when you lose the car, most of the time, you know, you can stop it before you start hitting things.
Yeah.
But yeah, still, you know, there's always the risk of just losing that moment of concentration and just, you know, losing the car completely.
Yeah, there's only a couple spots where you can really hit a wall. You know, we got walls outside the banking here, but it's so wide you can fit 3 cars through there. And there goes Civi slingshotting past out again.
Yeah, typical.
Okay, I'm back.
Typical Discord.
Well, it was actually I think we're reconnecting stream.
Are you still in the server?
No, I have to reconnect to the server now too. That bad, so. But I cycled my router, and we should be good to the end of the race here with 20 left.
The PCDC race to the finish, sponsored by something.
Pinties. Pinties in your grocer's frozen food section. Grab some Pinties. Dustin just died for our sins. Yeah, no, my router's gonna die after this. I'm gonna take the router out back and show it what's what. Yep.
Go, just show him how old Yella ended.
Consumer grade routers. I don't recommend it.
I mean, you're American, right? So you're probably with Comcast or something.
No, luckily not. We got a local. I think we're back on wave. Thank you for sticking with us. I'm getting back into the server now. Now I've got a local company that's actually pretty good. I think my router is just kind of not good. It's a pretty old model.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it's a bummer. At least the speeds have gone up. I'm out in the country, so I've got fiber, so it's pretty decent. I think it's the router that's been crapping up. I'm loading up into the session again. We got about 20 minutes left of the race here, and hopefully no more downtime now that I've cycled that router.
It's cracked for a second.
Yep. I've been talking for 2.5 hours.
Most of those hours were, you know, you solo.
Yeah, I always try to keep like an open commentary box on these there we are. On these endurance races. I like to have friends with me, because if I'm just talking for 3 hours, it's a killer. Alright, so we are back. Let's check what's what. My timing screen does not look so hot.
Oh, that's Project Cars for you.
Yeah, I think it's leveling out. Do you have timings up?
I see a black screen.
Oh, are you watching the stream?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, I think we're back. The timings are moving now, which is good. That's a plus.
Yep, I'm at 1905, so I'm probably 20 seconds behind you.
Yeah, I'm at 18:35. Well, we're back. In any case.
Welcome, everyone. Sorry about that.
Yeah, thanks for sticking with us for 3 hours. It's rare to find a 3-hour race that has nothing go wrong on the stream end, but we're gonna make it anyhow. I think just about every endurance race I've had some difficulty or other, but I think we should have her licked for the rest. We got 18 minutes left in the race, and what is going on here? I think my timings are still a little messed up, because it just said Herman was a second behind Jim, and he's definitely not. It's within a pit stop's distance. Let's check fuel here. Both got similar amount of fuel. I think Bill's been burning more fuel than Jim, though, because he consistently has been having less.
Yeah, it might be that Jim is just biding his time and just enjoying the lead he is having.
Yeah, it seems like I'm not sure if Jim just has such a good race sense or if he's maybe got the deltas up on screen, but he seems to match Kerbin's pace. Whenever Kerbin makes a big push, Jim also makes up those tenths and makes a big push. So I think
he's doing the Lewis Hamilton basically.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of managing his race pace and stringing Kerbin along without overworking himself.
Yeah, and that's also just important. He's driven almost 3 hours, so you just need to focus on bringing the car home, especially if you're in first place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if he bins it now, you know, that's just 3 hours of great racing gone for him.
No, that is not Rubix's Porsche that Turnbar is passing right now. That is just... Turnbar is 4 seconds behind Rubix, so that definitely could see some action here at the race. He's still behind Albiner now, but about 2.5 seconds behind.
Yeah, I'm jumping in as a spectator now, so it's at least easier to follow.
Yeah, it's good to have more eyes in the session.
Yeah, I was gonna drive, but sadly I woke up with a bit of a knee injury, so I wasn't gonna stress myself today.
Yeah.
Sadly enough, I train quite a bit, so it's not fun.
Oh, that's a bummer. But yeah, 3 hours on a knee injury probably wouldn't be good for you. Civi's still up here testing Albiner. It's going to be a sprint race for the next 15 minutes here with these two.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. And it's going to be exciting seeing if, you know, one of them might break under the pressure.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of... I don't know if it's the circuit or the cars or the drivers, but we've had a lot of people that have just been in these like 20-lap battles for position. It's been really exciting a lot of times. We've always had something going on here where people
I mean, with the you know, oval section, you get a lot of tow, you know, from the guy in front of you. So if you're, you know, somewhat close, you can really stick to them.
Yeah. Yep, we're seeing a lot of really interesting dynamics due to those open oval sections. Tonlo's in the chat says woke up with a knee injury. Interesting. Yeah, do you kick around and thrash at night or what?
No, I basically did way too much. I mean, I already have knee issues, but past week I've just done way too much, and basically this morning my knee went, you know, screw you. I'm just gonna do my own thing.
Yeah. Stuff.
So yeah. Sadly, no race for me. Yeah, Civic just had a big moment at the bus stop.
Yeah, he's not really been too hindered by it though. Still in that magic zone where he can capitalize on any of Albiner's mistakes. Oh, jeez.
He's getting a bit, you know. You get a bit startled, you know, by the LMPs. You don't want to drive, you know, be in front of them. So sometimes you just feel yourself get pushed away because you don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, exactly. I personally, I mentioned earlier in the race, like my endurance preferred position is to be just out turning laps with nobody around me. But as soon as, even if somebody's not in the same class as me and they're behind me, I start choking so badly. So it definitely, I try to be safe. I don't want to knock anybody else out either. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just go really wide here and just make sure I don't hurt anybody else. But Turnbar into the pits, dropping a position or two.
Yeah, sure, grabbing a position.
Picks up in the third, Sjord in fourth now, 19 seconds away from P3.
I mean, he's 30 seconds away from Rubix. I don't know what the, you know, pit stop situation is for either of them, but Sjord might jump him if Rubix has to do a splash and dash.
Quite possibly. They look about even for fuel. Sjord has a little bit less. Fuel check on the leader here. 25 liters for Jim. 21 for Bill. That might actually bring him to the end of the race.
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, 40 liters is half a tank. I think.
I think.
Oh, I mean, a full tank is like 80 liters.
I think so. I actually haven't driven the new LMPs yet.
I've driven them a bit, but they're quite a handful once you press the fun button.
Yeah. Elmo says, would have loved to race today, but I'm stuck at the in-laws. This race looks like a lot of fun, but I don't know if I could do 3 hours. I don't know if I could either. I'm sweating just sitting here talking about it for 3 hours. So I don't know if I could. I don't know if I'd be any good after 3, behind the wheel.
I mean, yeah, I've done a bunch of 1.5 hour, 90 minutes races, and at a certain point you just lock in, and basically time just passes you. So I think once you get into that zone, that it might get easy. I think the hardest parts in this race is when you're driving in the darkness, and basically the final 30 minutes when you just want to get the car home.
Yep. Yeah, that's sort of middle ground where you get into the zone isn't so bad, but now everything's sort of coming to a point, and you're thinking about your strategy, you're thinking about saving your tires and your gas to the end, and now we got just under 11 minutes and it's really crunch time for these guys.
Yeah, and you have a few guys still battling, still somewhat close to each other, so they're really thinking about I got 10 minutes left and I just want to win. Well, I want to win my battle at least.
Albiner just gave up P1 to Civi.
Yeah, a lot. I thought he was lapping, Civi was lapping someone, but he just gave it straight up.
Yeah, Albiner
faster.
Brakes really early.
It bounces around.
That was about.
Maybe he had, a moment, or maybe he had, he cut the corner at the bus stop and the game forces you to slow down.
That's possible.
Because if you get, the warning at the bus stop, you just lose so much time and speed.
Yeah, whoa, what? That can't be right. It says Albiner has a 53-second penalty.
What?
Do you get the timings on your screen?
Yeah, that was 53. Yeah, that's mental.
That's not. How does that even happen?
Did he kill a marshal or something?
Yeah, he drove through someone else's pit crew. They're like, nearly a minute will do. That's weird.
I mean, a minute is too much, we need to be fair.
Yeah.
Let's make it 53 seconds.
Ridiculous.
Well, that might explain why he gave up.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, those LMPs can get really eager.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, these GT3s also just with no downforce at all, just on the edge all the time.
Yeah, that bus stop too is like you can take it really fast, but there's a certain point where it's too fast, and he drifted nearly that whole thing. Good, congrats to Raz for keeping that on the road though. That was a pretty nice save. He was at full lock counter steer on that.
Yeah, I also practice, the Cadillac that Raz is driving, and that car is a handful at all times. Like, you're actively just handicapping yourself with this car, I feel.
Yeah, it looks like a big beefy machine. It's had some grunt in these straightaways though, but in the corners it looks like a handful.
Yeah, it loves to lose after you brake. You let go of the brake and then it just starts wobbling. It's a weird car to drive. But yeah, on the straightaways, it got the grunt and the power to just pull away from most cars, but you'll lose it at in the corners.
So after that swap, Albin is still only 3.8 away from Civi, but if that penalty is to be believed, that's not going to make any difference at all.
Oh, Bali is 6 tenths away from Ravs.
Yeah, he's been working on him for a few laps here, and we've seen them go back and forth a couple times this race. Been really evenly matched. No drift through there this time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're basically always drifting in the Cadillac.
Yeah.
Especially me. I'm not particularly a subtle driver. I barely trail brake at all, and turn 1 just turns into a skid fest.
Yeah, turn 1 is really like, it's nice and wide, and you would think it won't be that hard, but it's probably the hardest corner to absolutely master at Daytona.
You really need to be a master of, trail braking, as the LMP decides to take the widest possible line.
Yeah, the braking zone is kind of vague where you want to do it. You really need to practice it a lot to figure out where you need to start braking and downshifting, and then like hitting the apex properly. It's so that the apex is so late and far away where it's like, all right, do I get in there now? No, shift one more, no, okay.
That's not the racing line.
Yeah. Alright, sun goes down again, lights come on for the end of the race here. Just under 6 minutes left. I think it was pit stops that sort of separated Jim and Kerman again. I'm not sure because I had technical issues there, but not sure if Kerman's going to be able to whittle down that 37.
5 minutes? Yeah, I doubt it. Yeah. Unless something drastic happens.
Practicing out your commentator's curse there, MDK.
Yeah, knock on wood. I love a good bit of drama, though.
Yep. It's a good time around here.
But yeah, you can see that Kerman is just pushing everything out of the car, but it's, 1.8 seconds in 5 minutes. I don't see it happening, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, he's been beating Jim for pace, but I think Jim knows exactly what he's doing with race pace up ahead there. Oh, and as I say that, Kerman turns in a 130, so...
Yeah, but he was stuck, behind the Lambo and behind the Cadillac. So he had to dodge those cars.
Yeah, it's always interesting with this multi-class. It makes for some good racing. I mean, the really interesting moments when they mix in together during... we've had 2 battles happening at the same time, passing each other, and just... It gets weird.
Also, I think this might be a PCDC's first time, but more LMPs on the field than GT3s right now.
I mentioned that we got 5 GT3s and 8 LMPs. Everybody was real eager to try these new LMPs out, and it's been some really great racing.
But yeah, with the multi-class, it's just, there's always something going on, You're never driving for, nothing. Yeah, some are driving for nothing, but like, there's always, a winner for GT3 and a winner for LMP8, rather than, one guy driving off into the distance and everyone just being best of the rest.
Right, and it's a really participatory racing experience. Even if you're not going for a podium, you're still out there wheel to wheel with other cars and interacting with people. It's definitely trying for everybody's safety to have all these overtakes going on all the time, but it makes for a lot of fun for everybody.
Yeah, and that's why we're here, right?
Exactly.
It's cliche, but we're all here just for a good bit of fun.
Yep, and this season has absolutely delivered on fun, I think.
Yeah, I hope that next season I can be here. Hope. But I can always jump into the commentary box when I can't drive.
Yeah, you're more than
and car just went off.
Yeah, that was Ocelot a Merc there.
Yeah, he's not been having a good race at all.
Not really, but you know, I mentioned before, just finishing this 3-hour race is a win for everybody.
Yeah, I have full respect for anyone who just keeps driving, even though it's not your race, even though, you know, you made a mistake or, you know, you fucked up or whatever. You put your laps in, you know, you can't win all races, but you just put your laps in and just do your best.
Yeah, well, and especially with an endurance race, if you really do put your nose to the grindstone and just keep turning laps, I've seen people go, you know, from 7th to 3rd at the end of a endurance race just because they stuck with it and didn't get any damage or what.
Yeah, maybe next year, you know, we can have a PCDC 24 hours. We can really go crazy.
Yeah, we'll see. It's driver swap thing is holding us back. Project Cars.
One day.
Someday. Project Cars 6, maybe we'll have working driver swaps. 1 minute and a half left of the race. Yep. Jim Boom, the race leader for ages now, is on lap 118. But strong as ever.
And Civi is driving, hopefully, towards the finish line. I mean, Civi came from quite a ways back, I think.
Civi's been around the grid during the race. He got, I think, 2nd place in qualifying. 2nd or 1st, actually. He was really quick in qualifying, but when I was watching him in qualifying, he looked a little bit squirrely, so I wasn't sure if he'd be able to bring it home. But it turns out he can manage his pace really well. He was just pushing really hard in qualifying. But yeah, it's been a great race for Civi. I don't know if we've seen race before, but it's or no.
If this is his first race, it's a pretty damn good debut.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, not just winning your first race, but winning a 3-hour race, you know, with some pretty stiff competition.
Absolutely. I think this will be our final lap. Jim is on the back straight with 7 seconds left, so this will be it.
So Jim finishes this lap, or he has to do one more?
No, this will be it for Jim, and then everybody else that's out there will have to cross the line after him.
Yeah, I always forget, you know, with timed races.
Yeah,
Is it the time +1? No, Jim's celebrating.
Yep. Congrats to Jim on the win here. Now we got a minute and a half or 2 minutes for everybody else to finish their lap, and that's it. Clinched for Jim. Bill Kerman heading through the chicanes right now.
Not as close as we hoped, but you know, 3 hours. You know, everyone's exhausted, I think.
Yeah, and you know what? We've been watching these two the whole time because they've been absolutely sprinting it for 3 hours, like all of it. It's been Jim and Kerman battling sort of, you know, with their gaps and stuff for the entire race. So it was a really, really immense showing on their parts, both of them. Oh. Did they cross? Oh, they did cross the line. I missed it.
You missed it.
Whoops.
Amateur.
I'll be hearing about that one later on.
Brilliant production values, as always. Only the best with PCDC.
Tonlo says, Dustin, you're a winner for commentating this long. Thank you, bud. I'm glad it's been appreciated. I know a lot of guys like to, a lot of our drivers like to watch these endurance races after the fact too. You miss a lot of stuff.
Don't
so
forget to vote for a commentator of the day. #COTD PCDC.
I'm gonna vote MDK for MVP because I would have lost my voice by now. I'm already losing it. So.
And you still have to do the podium ceremony.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, so that's Jim winning it. Bill Kerman in the 2nd place, and Rubik's got that 3rd. Rubik's had himself a race out there today too. He's been all over the place. Civi wins the first win for sure, at least in maybe Civi's raced with us before that I haven't seen, but that was a fantastic showing. Albiner switches the second. That penalty is still there, so Raz Daniels in third for the GT3. Really, really fun. It's quite a race. We only had a couple, 5-minute moments where there wasn't anything going on, and just lots of battles that were drawn out for 20 laps and
Really,
crazy race.
Yeah, we only lost 6 cars in the entire race, which for a 3-hour race is pretty spectacular.
Yeah, not on a lot of our endurance races, we see like a 50% retirement rate, but I wasn't expecting too much. A lot of those happen due to crashes in a endurance, but kind of hard to crash at Daytona, so we just got to see a lot of great wheel stuff. 119. I gotta hand it to Jim and Bill. They were just competing with each other that entire race. There wasn't a moment where either of them had it really.
For sure. I mean, yeah, I really don't have anything more to add. Just a lot of great drivers today. Just doing more than I did. I'm just sitting here talking.
All right. I gotta remember that replay or let me told me twice. Save that replay for me. There we go. Have it.
I've also saved it just in case. The last 20 minutes.
Reviews. MDK,
Yeah,
you willing to
just
break some people in for me?
What do you need?
Hop over and see if we can get well, winners first. Let's see if Jim or Civi are down to have a word. Do some interviews here. PCDC.link if you want to join us for season 5. Probably for news on that. I don't think we know what's going on yet today, but hello, Jim.
Grazie ragazzi, grande lavoro, la pizza rapida e la calzone volante.
Yeah, what he said. Congrats on the win, Jim.
Thank you very much.
That was immense. You were there wasn't a moment in that 3 hours where I was looking at the gaps and I said, Jim has it clinched or Bill has it clinched. It was like you guys fighting for gaps and pit strategy the entire time. How'd that go for you?
It was tight. Yep. I know Bill had the issue with the pit stop at the end. It repaired the damage even if it didn't choose it in the pit menu.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, I was a bit lucky with that one.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, because it was really close. He was trying to sneak up on you. Did you have, I want to know, did you have the deltas up on your screen?
Of course.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jim's got some really amazing awareness because every time Bill was pushing really hard, you would match with a push yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got to say, that was some really great spacecraft, really nice management of your pace there.
Yep. The traffic was really important as well. When Bill first overtook me, I had some really bad luck. I encountered some traffic at the bus stop 3 or 4 laps in a row, and then it was Bill's turn to get unlucky and could catch him back again.
Hey, also, you crossed the finish line with fuel today. Good on you.
Incredible.
Did you it seemed like you and Bill were about on the same hit strategy as well. Did you have that figured out well ahead of time for yourself?
Not really. I did one less stop than what I was planning, but I think there was not enough margin to try anything crazy with the race strategy.
Right. Worked out. Congrats on your win, Jim.
Thank you so much.
Ivy, hello. Are you with us? Oh, you didn't have your microphone set. Oh, there you go. Hello, welcome.
Thanks.
Congrats on your win. That was a fantastic showing. I don't know if I've seen you race before, but that was a really strong showing.
It's my first race in this group, so it was pretty fun. I'm not used to endurance racing, but I really like it.
You're not too used to endurance racing, and your first time racing with these guys, and you managed the first. That was pretty fantastic. Yeah, that was double the length of our main series, which are already pretty long for Project Cars racing leagues. Did you put in a bunch of practice for the race, or just say, let's go see what happens?
I did 20-30 minutes of practice yesterday, and I did about 20 minutes today in making pit strategies, but then I thought it was daytime racing and not night racing, so I had to change those right before the race.
Oh, right on. Dude, it turned out. Do you have any outstanding moments out there that happened?
I don't know. Mostly I drove alone. That was kind of annoying. Like no fighting for most of the race, but I think my pit strategies and tire changes was not that great. I got some damage and I just kept driving with it, and it slowed me down by 1 second per lap. I should also have switched tires only once.
Sadie's had a little sneer to it. The left headlight was raised a little higher than the right. That was a lot of fun, and yeah, it seemed pretty uncontested for the most part on your end, but yeah, that was. Guess it doesn't go too much better than that. I guess for a win.
At the end, Alboner came up, or whatever it was called. I think he did pretty good driving, and I think it was interesting with the no tire change. I have no idea how that worked out, but it seemed like it was pretty good.
You were on the same tires that whole time?
I think he did. I don't think he changed them.
Oh, okay. That's something.
I changed it at every pit, and that was too often because it didn't give me a lot of better lap times.
Yeah. Oh yeah, congrats on your win in your first race with us. I hope I see some more from you in season 5.
Same here. I hope to drive more here.
Congrats. We'll see you.
Thanks.
Yo, MDK. Hello.
Hello there.
Will you grab Kerman and Alboner?
I'll try.
Okay. I guess we had some slight downtime due to some internet hiccups, but we've been at it for 4 hours or so. Hard at it. More than worth it, though. Hello, Alboner and Bill. Welcome.
Hello, Dustin.
Congrats to both of you. That was a really fun race to watch. Alboner, first of all, that 53-second penalty wind up counting? Because that was ridiculous.
Wait, I pushed it out. 1 second.
Oh, okay. Well, Bill.
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, I was back.
Yes.
What was up with that?
And I want to kill myself.
That was ridiculous. How'd you get a 53-second penalty? Did you kill someone else?
I sped a bit in the pit lane.
Yeah, a bit. Did you?
Not like 5 kilometers an hour on pit entry, and I got fucked.
Was it all like 50 at the same time?
Yeah.
Outrageous.
Yeah, and like that's the thing as well. I triple stinted. Like I ran the same tires for the entire race. Just because I wanted to have Civi in front at the back, and I managed to do that. But then, obviously, 53 seconds, there's no chance. I lost all hope.
Yeah, Civi mentioned that you're same tires the whole race. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Certainly had some moments out there. I made sure to get that beautiful American livery. Lots of screens. You had some really, really fun battles. I was sad to see that 53-second penalty. I was like, man, that's got to be just crushing if Al knows about that.
Trust me, it was.
That's too bad. Well, it was a good finish anyway for you, man.
Yeah.
Really fun race. Do you have any outstanding moments? Any oh shit moments or anything?
Well, basically every single time Bill tried to lap me.
You just come in hot or what?
Yeah, basically. No, but probably the biggest oh shit moment was exactly that when I saw that 53-second penalty.
That is soul crushing.
Yeah.
Oh, you had a fantastic race anyway, man.
I did.
Bye forever, Al.
Goodbye.
Bill, congrats on your second. That was quite a race.
Thanks. Yeah, first of all, congratulations to Jim. He did a really good job today. And I don't know, somehow these races seem to get away from me.
Well, I mean, it didn't seem, looking at it and looking at the gaps for that entire 3 hours, it didn't seem like there was really any moment where either you or Jim had it clinched.
Yep.
You guys were racing the entire time, and
yeah, I mean, there were two moments that decided the race. The first one was the track limit penalties, because I got an additional penalty at the bus stop, but I had 3 seconds by then. I was not expecting to get another 2, but just 1. Then I got 2 and the drive-through penalty. So that set me back a bit. But it's not like the race was lost after that. I could have clawed it back, I think, because I was double stinting my rear tires. And at the last stop, I didn't switch tires at all. It just refueled. So I think that would have put me right where Jim was, more or less, and would have given us a race to the finish in the end. But then on that last just refueling stop, I disabled damage repair to save more time. And what did the game do? It tried to repair damage for about 30 seconds. Yeah, and that's what was in it in the end. So that's a bit frustrating.
It's frustrating when stuff comes down to these weird technical things that shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Because it was, you were narrowly just scraping up that like 12-second gap for a while towards the end, and I was like, oh shit, it's going down.
Yeah, those 12 seconds that was the gap I was expecting that I could somehow bridge if I could do that stop with the with triple stinting the rears. But yeah, just didn't work out, and that's a shame. But on the other hand, we had some really great battling at the beginning. Jim was saving up his hybrid energy for the second straight, and I was just doing my thing, and suddenly he would come up with a huge speed difference, and that was challenging until I got a bit of air.
It was fun just seeing how the LMPs in general would sort of react to each other with the Kurs differently, and that was kind of fun to see. It looked really difficult to make passes because people were blapping it on as soon as somebody got into position and just rolling away. That was kind of fun to see that management. Also, the pace management between you and Jim was like, you'd go on a big push and Jim would notice the deltas and he would go on a big push too. Like, you guys weren't wheel to wheel, but you were racing the entire time.
Yeah, I agree. We were at a really similar pace the whole race. And yeah, it would have been really cool if I hadn't had those issues. Because I feel that overall Jim was a bit quicker, but I had maybe the quicker strategy. So that could have been really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I feel, we all got a little bit robbed of a battle there, but you and Jim, every time you guys get into a place of close competition, I'm happy for it. So
yeah, me too. It's really fun.
The good news is you did surpass Sula in the endurance leagues.
Yeah, well, on the other hand, we don't really know if that season is ever going to end. So I would rather win one.
Yeah, I suppose. Put it like that, I get. All right. Well, congrats on your finish, Bill. That was pretty solid.
Thanks. See you, Dustin.
Yeah, could you drag Rubik's in here? Willing?
Yes.
Just a couple. Rubik's, hello.
Hello.
Hello. That was a great finish, first of all, and I had the utmost faith in you. I'm not going to name any names, but one of your friends was like, not looking too good for Rubik's early in the race, and I was like, you hang on in this. I mean, for as far as positions go, there was a lot of flip-flops in your field, and you had a lot of really good pushes for positions. How'd it go from your point?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the Audi was much faster on from the pace than the Porsche. So my main advantage that I had was I only had to pit 3 times and the Audi has to pit 4 times. And because I knew that, I tried to stay close to one bar, and I did that for like 2 hours. Really close. And then yes, when he went into the pits, I pushed really hard and tried to come out in front of him, and yeah, there were was an intense race.
Yeah, I watched we watched a lot of your adventure with Turambar, and it was fun to see, and I was keeping track of you guys' fuel, and I was in your corner on that. I was like, I want to see this Porsche come out, you know, eclipsing an entire pit stop of the Audis, because you were doing 4 extra laps a stint or more compared to them. Like,
yes, yeah. And like on the second pit stop, I really needed to pee, so I ran on to the toilet and came back a little bit too late and lost like 10 seconds or something.
Oh man, you gotta go in your
But it
chair
was
like a
totally worth it.
professional.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's good. Well, you had a great finish.
But I got third, so podium, which is really nice against like Tuamba and Sjord and another Audi. So that was really good and way more than I expected. So it's really nice. But the pace from Bill and Jim Boom was just amazing. Like, congratulations to them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we had most of the dominant LMP1 guys were in the LMP grid still. Flick and Flocken switched to GT3 for this. Everybody else, Mason,
because he
Turambar.
just couldn't drive the new LMPs.
So you had a lot of hefty competition out there, but you had a lot of really just.
Yeah, thanks. Was nice to be a part of that race.
Just congrats for making it 3 hours at all.
Yeah, and my arms are hurting now a lot.
I bet. Well, get some rest. You earned it. Congrats again on your position finish.
Thanks.
Have MD. One more. We'll try to get Raz. Okay, hello. Hello. Hello.
You can't hear me.
Hello. There you are. Hey, could you do me a favor and see if Raz will want an interview?
Sure, but I can't pull him up, so.
That's fine. Polly's down there. I can do it. Alright, so we'll do one more and then we'll call it quits, but we'll get Raz in here. Raz had a really good last part of the race there. And Polly's here. Hello.
Well, I felt left out.
I was just.
It really should have been Paulie's win, that.
Polly, I was just getting to your race. I was just about to start, you know, heaping on the praise, but now that you're here, you can tell it from your own point of view.
Well, I would have been in third. I got screwed over.
Uh-huh.
Raz, I mean, well done to Raz. That was absolutely great fun. He had 60 odd litres to splash, and I had 20. So I thought, that's in my favour. I've got less fuel to put in. I'll come out ahead of him. It's mine. And my tyres were also a lot fresher. Pitted. Damage was set to not repair. And my crap pit crew decided they would tell me my gearbox is broken and started repairing my car.
That happened to Bill, too.
Which took 40 seconds and came out the pits. No damage had been repaired at all. So it was an absolutely pointless exercise. And then Raz was 20 seconds ahead of me.
Yeah,
and I managed to close that whole 20 seconds, which was a task in itself and intense. But I couldn't get past him. As soon as it started going dark again, that was it.
Yeah.
Cards didn't work.
Yeah, the bus stop was just so bad for both of us.
Oh my goodness, we saw some drifts.
Yeah, it was a bit of tandem.
And then Paulie would see me drift, is like, I can do better than that.
There was like some full opposite lock drifting to the bus stop.
Yeah, at one point I was going through it, and like I braked late, so then turning left, I'd oversteer. Then turning right, I'd oversteer. Then turning right again, I'd oversteer. And like it was just correction after correction after correction. I don't know how I managed to get through it.
Yeah, that was a pretty wild finish there. You guys we had most eyes on you because Bill had already kind of had his pit stop error that mostly put him out of the running for first. So we were watching the battle back there.
I wasn't sure that I was going to catch him back up because I think there was a 24-second lead he had over me.
Yeah, I spun at turn one.
And he spun, and from that moment on, I just started catching and catching and catching. As soon as I got in the slipstream, I caught up a bit more. But it was as soon as it started going cold again, because with my setup, the hards didn't work at night, and that was it. It was just too late. Nothing was going to happen.
My front left was pretty much gone. So coming up those horseshoes, I was pretty much a goner. It's like so much understeer.
It was looking pretty hairy. That caddy was looking so wild in the corners, but it seemed to have a lot of grunt on the straightaways. Like
it had far better straight line speed than me.
Yeah,
I was able to get him at the end. I think at one point I hit 182 mile an hour, which is the fastest I've been in that. And that was it. I couldn't get past him on the straights because his car had just had so much more grunt.
I think that's its positive, but also it's negative because like it has so much grunt off the corners. You also have to manage that grunt off the corners, and like the back end would just want to step out so much.
Looked like a bit of a boat going through some corners where it was wanting to power out, but yeah, Paulie would be in the slipstream and he couldn't get past you. Like he was properly in the slipstream where there's the least resistance, and he still couldn't catch up to that caddy.
Yeah, and the Lambo is quite a quick car in a straight line as well.
I was like, how are you not even getting by me? I thought, oh, I've had a bad exit on the bus stop here. He's got me, and you just couldn't do it. And then like traffic would come by, so then you definitely wouldn't like try it then.
I don't even care that I didn't get a podium because that was great fun. Highlight of the season for me.
Yeah, that was a good race. I'm dead, but it was a good race.
Yeah, I've got a numb bum.
Congrats to everybody for finishing 3 hours. That is an accomplishment.
Yeah, well done to everyone for sticking that out. Only a few retirements, only a few incidents. Very good lapping from LMPs.
Yeah, those LMPs were scary though. They catch up on you so fast.
Yeah, there's a couple of hairy moments. I don't think we saw GT3 and LMP contact on our cameras though.
I got rear-ended by Yons.
Well.
But it only caused one aero damage, which I stayed with throughout the rest of the race.
We'll penalize
So that's what did you in there. That's that one aero damage slowed you down so much.
We're gonna have to give him 5 points penalty on the endurance league.
I thought you were gonna say 5-year ban then.
5-year ban from racing. Yeah, Raz, I gotta say thanks for advertising my 2020 run for Galactic Emperor. That.
Well, what can I say? I just like to give the publicity.
It's interesting because I didn't see Raz's livery because I didn't install the livery pack, so it was just a plain white car for me.
Oh, you should have seen. You missed out on my bumper stickers, man. You would have seen the most of my bumper stickers.
We were on Polly's roof cam, seeing a lot of them on the stream. It was good.
But it's sort of like, how's my driving? If you don't like it, leave the country or something like that.
Well, lads, I've been talking for about 4.5 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and call it here.
Yeah, thank you, Dustin, for streaming that and putting up with it.
No problem.
Looking forward to watching it back.
Yeah, it was a good time. Congrats on your finishes, guys. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, cheers for that, and thanks for a good race, Paulie.
Love it.
Anybody else wants to join us? PCDC.link. We'll have season 5 coming up in a few weeks. Maybe I'll make a nice teaser for that one too. Yeah, for Project Cars Drivers Club. Box, thanks for watching. Love y'all. Goodbye.
PCDC #1.